The city has something that they can get behind. The city in this IPS district, these little kids, have a group of individuals that they can look up to that tells them that anything is possible. Oh, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter where you go to school. It doesn't matter that you can be a champion, that you can do things that people never thought you could do. Because the whole view of IPS has always been just people that can't control themselves, that can't play disciplined basketball, that a lot of can't make grades. We have a platform that God has put us on. God has put us on a platform to inspire others.
Meditate on my gift. I'ma manifest all strength. I'ma get it all off strength. I'ma kill it all off strength. I'ma hit it all off strength. Real one take strength. Meditate on my gift. I'ma manifest all strength. I'ma get it all off. I'ma kill it all off strength. I'ma hit it all off strength. You niggas, no longer trust me. I gave my all away so much it can't even touch my neck. Don't want no hug on it. Don't want your sympathy. I was alone about it. Fuck your empathy. I took my time to try and break the mold. Open your mind into the darkness. This is the darkness. I run trying to symbolize independence from life. I am the Martian. I am the warship.
Family on three, family on three. 1, 2, 3.
In 2013, issues of race and racism divided many Americans. That same year, a team from the inner city of Indianapolis came together as a family with the goal of winning the state championship. No Indianapolis public school team had won it since 1980. No Arsenal Tech high school basketball team had ever won it. No one thought they could.
It's a program that's had success going way back. You know, I think they'd gone to the finals 4 times maybe over a long period of time and had never won it, but had been there at least and had some great players, you know, and Jim Price and Mike Price going back to the 60s and guys like that. And, you know, Frank Kendrick played there himself. He was a great player. And I think he graduated in 70, around there.
Yeah, I went in 1966 and came out in 1970. I played varsity for 3 years, and I took a lot of pride in my school.
Did the school take pride in the school in the late 60s and 70s?
Absolutely.
Tech was a proud school.
Absolutely, very proud.
Historically, if you look at the 50s Addicts teams and some of the early 60s Tech teams, and then some of the 70s Washington teams, you know, it was a era where IPS was really dominating. Of course, with the late 70s and early 80s with some of the busing and stuff that went on, I'm sure that plays a huge factor in the decline in some of what was happening in terms of winning in IPS.
Kind of a program that had fallen on hard times, like in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, has kind of fallen off the map of, you know, great high school programs. So it was kind of a Renaissance underdog story. Like, all right, Tech is back, and this is cool because they've got all this past history, but they haven't really been relevant for a while.
Arsenal Tech is a large inner-city public school in Indianapolis.
One of the most beautiful campuses in the city and probably in the state of Indiana. It's huge. It looks like a college campus. It has field artillery parked on its front lawn. It's formerly a Civil War arms depot. There are a few places like Tech, yet at the same time, it's just a shadow of its former self in many ways. In the 50s, it was one of the largest high schools in the country.
Early on, Tech was one of the first high schools in the city of Indianapolis. It produced some of the most outstanding graduates over those particular years.
Tech High School has bred a lot of good stuff. You know, there are a lot of people that no one ever talks about, because we go way back in the day.
But during the years of the 70s, Tech had many racial kind of conflicts.
It was once an all-white student body, very middle class, even upper middle class. Today, it's 90% minority kids, black and Hispanic. Most of the kids who go there are poor.
My senior year had 500 kids at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, we walked with 250 or so. So that just gives a little picture about the difficulties of graduating. A lot of kids dropped out, a lot of kids were held back, a lot of kids struggled with situations at home or with academics. So it was a really tough environment, a lot of fights, a lot of negativity around the school.
You know, a lot of people don't want their kids going to public schools because of the bad that can go on.
These guys come from all different spots and places in the culture. No one was supposed to be successful. You know, when you talk about Tech, you talk about, oh man, they're just thugs and nobody's doing anything.
From mine and the teammates, I feel like, you know, IPS at the time was getting a lot of bad slack about, you know, IPS schools not being good and, you know.
No one ever talks about the positive side of Tech High School.
You don't want to talk about the media, but I think with the media, they don't want to look for anything good. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, but as soon as something negative happens, it could, you know, anything, that's when they come running.
Regardless of what it is, bro, you never know what somebody's really going through on a day-to-day basis.
We named a young man, Frank Kendricks, as the coach of the basketball program in Austin Tech High School.
When I came back in that time, it wasn't the Tech I knew and loved.
What was different about it?
Players, braided hair, pants hanging off the rear end, not going to class, disrespectful to people. We were revered. Felt like we had a responsibility to be a leader. People looked up to you. You had to be that.
Frank did a good job of bringing some great athletes together.
He was that one that got those pieces, got the pieces to the puzzle to Tech.
I would be remiss if I didn't say that they had a very special player who Frank Kendricks kind of enticed and motivated to come to Austin Tech High School, and that young man named Trey Lyles.
Trey was a very good student too. I think he was, I don't know what he ranked in his class, but he was really high up there as far as GPA and class ranking, and I really took that part of it seriously too. He was an all-around, you know, academic athlete.
It started with Trey. Trey was our best player.
You're gonna feed off your best player's energy.
Being that big, that skilled, you know, he could step out and hit the three. He could take you off the dribble. He could, you know, when we needed him to get into the paint and post guys up and dominate the glass and dominate around the basket, he would do that.
More importantly, Trey's a great young man. Flat out, hands down, awesome person.
I don't think Tech basketball before this team was respected. I don't think, it was just another sport at Tech. We were decent, you know, we weren't winning big games, but we weren't playing big teams.
Me and Trey came in the same year. We all played together at 8th grade. So yeah, Coach Kendrick had already had his freshman set for coming in the next year.
Jeremy had many strengths. His main strength, I would say, would be three-point shooting. And you know, when you get a fast break, you know what happens after that. He's going to most likely dunk it or do something crazy. Jeremy was he was kind of the clown, the team clown.
About to jump high and I might slow.
Him and Josh, they were always laughing, and they were always doing up to something, it seemed like. Whether it was just dancing or singing or something silly, those two were involved.
Of course, yeah, Josh was the funny guy on the team, but I think we all had our own personalities, you know, just me. I was always like trying to help someone else.
He was always right place, right time. You know, you would get beat, and out of nowhere, you know, the shot gets blocked. You're like, who blocked that? You see Jeremy just landing, and you're like, okay, right on, Jeremy. Thanks for having my back. He was always at the right place at the right time. You know, you like a defender is heating you up, playing really good defense. He'll just make a random cut, and out of nowhere, you got an assist. Like, he was just always there to bail us out, and he led us in scoring a lot of games. When, you know, when he heats up, it's pretty much, there's no way we're gonna lose.
You know, he's athletic too. He's gotten a lot better, being able to do stuff besides just shoot all the time.
I still have the record of most made threes in a career.
They didn't win very many games Trey's freshman year, but you could see the talent was starting to build. But it took a while, I think, for that to really take hold. I think it took a while for Trey too to completely buy in and be like, all right, this is where I should be. This is what I need to. I don't think that first year there was really. I'm not sure he sensed that as much.
I think at that point I didn't know what was going to happen to us. I didn't know how the team was going to be the next year. I just knew we had 3 more years.
We were still, I feel like then, looking for those missing pieces. CJ wasn't there yet. So we still needed some pieces when Coach Kendrick was there. And I think once we got the rest of those and Coach Delaney came in and that molding started, I think that's when we all kind of knew. I think people started to realize, okay, this is going to be all right. We're going to put this together and it's going to be good.
You know, I was at Washington High School, and we played against Tech in the Arlington Summer League, and we lost by 1. We missed a free throw to tie it up. And myself, Jamal Smith, and Eric Kleinfelter were all together at Washington. And we kept saying to ourselves, if we had that talent, what could we do with that? And so I can remember talking to Victor Bush, and there was talk that there may be a change in coaching. And I'm trying to, see if I would have a chance.
The first time we saw Coach Delaney walk in, and I remember he had his little over-the-shoulder briefcase with him, and he was walking with Jerome, and Jerome had introduced me to him, and he had that smile on his face like how he always does when he first sees somebody. He had that little smirk. So,
I think Tech didn't really have an identity, before he got there. At least for the previous, several years. And that was probably the problem, is they have had some good players, but didn't really have an identity of kind of what they were all about.
We lost a couple seniors from the freshman year team. I think that year Mikey had transferred over to play with us.
I had people tell me, okay, why did you go to Tech? And I was saying, because I just want to cut my hair, I really actually wanted to go to Tech. I sat down that summer and was thinking, I want an Arsenal Tech diploma. So I scheduled a meeting with Delaney, and my biggest concern was me graduating high school, because I felt like if I had that coach that was going to push me to graduate high school, I probably want to graduate high school. And I felt like he had in his best interest, and basketball was going to follow.
Man, a lot of guys didn't know what Mike really could do, man.
Oh, Mikey is easily the best zone player, ever. When teams win zone, you put him in the middle. He's always going to make the best play, whether to pass it, shoot it, or, set the right screens at the top. He knew what to do. It became like a chess game for him. He was incredible when it came to the zone.
I don't know if there was any guy better in the state of Indiana that could play the middle of a zone better than Mike Jones.
Man, he could play basketball.
Sometimes you couldn't get 2 words out of, but other times you'd see a different side of Mike when he was around the guys.
Deep, it's just a basketball game.
Mikey's just a silly dude. He's laid back, he's a funny guy. He is a funny guy. He says a lot of funny stuff. On the court, he's a great player, great defender, great passer. He just does everything we need him to do.
It only takes about 2 or 3 times that you see Delaney kind of on a basketball court that you realize he's for real.
I think that if you didn't know him or had never had a conversation with him, you might think that Jason Delaney is a hothead jackass. The way he, you gotta be kidding me. It's 30 seconds into a basketball game and the guy's taking off his jacket. That was a staple. But the X's and O's didn't suffer for it. That just meant that he was in the game, so to speak.
I think he really demanded a lot of hard work from his kids. I think he demanded for them to be accountable for themselves, and I know he holds himself at a high standard too as well. I know Coach Delaney is a winner, so all the attributes and things that it takes to win, I know he on a day-to-day basis instilled that in his players.
Again, I apologize. I talk to you guys all the time about people talking trash and not responding. When trash was talked to me tonight, I responded. So I apologize once again for my actions. I took myself out of the game very early, so I apologize for that.
You know, it started that first summer in this shootout in Carmel. It's kind of like the state championship of the summer. And they had never played in it before. And I asked Coach Lyles, why have they not played in this before? And he said that no one ever thought they could compete in it. So we went into it. We played the preseason #1 team, which was North Central with Ronnie Johnson and Patrick Ingram. And we upset them with a bunch of sophomores.
We turned things around.
You talk about changing the culture of what Tech was and to what it turned out to be. He took that and molded it some more. Because all of it is the clay. It's all putting it together, molding it, and making it what it needs to be.
We lost to LC, to Jeremy Hollowell, the buzzer beater.
He was probably one of the highest ranked recruits that year.
So everybody in the stands, everybody knew he was getting the ball.
We played it perfectly. I thought we were in position, and he just kind of does a little jab step, fade away from 15 feet in the corner, and just kind of rattles around and falls through at the buzzer.
Throws a floater over Trey. Trey doesn't jump because he didn't want to foul, banks it off.
Oh,
it's history, man.
Yeah. On our home floor, we've got Trey Lyles, who, even though he's a sophomore, everyone knew kind of what the kid was going to become. And to see that shot go in was just devastating.
I mean, you talk about heartbreaking. Because we felt like we had a chance. I mean, here's this young group of guys, you know, led by sophomores, and you had a group of seniors who didn't get the headlines, but so key into that team. Because, you know, most people don't know, Jeremy and Mikey didn't play a whole lot that year. They were still working through some things of getting better. And we had a group of seniors who filled those roles really well.
I remember having a conversation with Keith Dabney, and he telling me to remember that feeling, you know, remember that hate, that feeling of losing and just not wanting to feel it again.
I took that feeling and ran with it as I was getting older.
That first season, we go 16-5. They had won 17 games the 3 previous years, lost on a last-second shot to Jeremy Hollowell and Lawrence Central, which broke our hearts. But what you started to see was in the locker room, guys were crying after the game. And the coaches who had been around said that hadn't happened before. The previous year, they just wanted to get the season over with. And I remember that night being in the office, and we're hosting it at Tech, which makes it even worse, you know, because the sectional is going on, and now Tuesday night, first game, you're out of it. And there's this knock on the door of our office, and they say, "Hey, Coach, would you mind talking to this dad?" I said, "Sure." In walks Clarence Walker, CJ Walker's dad. And I remember him coming in and us sitting down and talking, because CJ at that time had gone to Addicks Middle School. We had gone to watch Paul Scruggs play in middle school and walked away being really impressed with CJ's. And I remember sitting, we took the team over there and we're sitting up on the stage, and next to me was CJ's mom. And I didn't know it at the time, and we're talking. And here he comes in, his dad, and he's just talking to me about Tech. And so at our lowest moment, what we needed walked in that door. And I can remember Clarence saying, "You're the only coach that wouldn't promise him a starting spot. You're the only coach that said he was going to have to earn everything." And they loved that. And from there, we got CJ Walker. And so that was kind of the missing piece that we needed.
CJ, we had played when we was kids, Team 317 AAU. He was the same. He was a good shooter then. He was a good shooter now, and he was an extremely great ball handler, great IQ. He had the heart of a lion, so it was easy playing with him. Like once you see him get going, like you have no choice but to just step your intensity up.
Out of all the basketball players I've seen, like I feel like he sees the floor. He knows what his job is. He knows what he's supposed to be doing. He's just a great player, you know? And then off the court, he's a great human being. You know, he is professional, he is kind, he's very humble. Academic-wise, he was a great student. You know, the teachers loved him. He worked hard in the classroom. When they would go and read to the elementary school kids, the kids loved him.
Took his spot as a freshman, I want to say after the 3rd or 5th game. Whatever game we played, Cathedral.
Still today, I say that's probably the toughest environment we ever had to play in. CJ makes some huge plays. I mean, for his first ever start, and we go to overtime and hits a huge 3 in overtime, and we beat Cathedral.
That's how we knew, like, all right, we're gonna be all right. We got our point guard, we got our guys together, and even that culmination of CJ and Trey finally bonding, it took a little bit of time. It didn't happen overnight, and CJ had to learn to trust Trey, and vice versa, because Trey was dominant. He was the ball dominant person, and he had to learn to give up that control and realize that CJ was a daggone good point guard for us.
Oh man, CJ was my point guard, man. Coach Smith said it all the time, man. He ran the team.
Point guard position is the grown man position. It's the position that, you know, you run everything, you run the team. And to have CJ Walker back there, he really was able to help carry us, and he was kind of our missing link on that team to carry us to where we wanted to go.
I would say that they definitely had great talent in that junior year, of Trey's junior year.
Certainly they had a lot of boxes that checked off that you would want to see. They had some height. They had some guys that could bang at the rim, could dunk it. They had shooters. They had a heck of a handle on CJ.
The thing that really destroyed our chances my sophomore year, which would be the seniors' junior year, was Trey's injury in the second round of the sectional championship.
We get to Friday night, we play Lawrence Central. They had just beat Warren Central on that Tuesday night, and we're there as a team. They went on a last-second shot, and as they're walking to the locker room, we're sitting up on the second level, and they point up and say, "We want you." And I mean, our kids go nuts about that.
So, you know, that kind of hyped us up. And then I think we ended up beating them by 30 that game, but that's when Trey had got injured and sprained his knee.
We're playing Lawrence Central, and we're up by 19 late in the game. And one of our guys dribbles the ball and loses it, and it goes rolling down the floor, and Trey Lyles goes and dives on it.
But the way he dived the wrong way, and I was right there next to him. He grabbed the ball and just let go of it and just started grabbing his knee. The whole gym got quiet. I'm like, ah.
But he messes up his knee. And so we, in less than 24 hours later, have to play Cathedral, who this is the 4th time we had to play them that year. That we beat them twice. They beat us in the city, so this is, you know, the 4th time.
It always was kind of, we look at Trey to get it done in the end.
But we knew we still was going to have to go out and play this game with or without him. It just made me feel some type of way. We fought, but it's Cathedral. Cathedral is a very tough team, and all 4 of my years of playing basketball in high school, it's always been Cathedral. It's always been Cathedral. We could never get past Cathedral.
That was the worst year for us. I would say, like, that year really hit us bad because, you know, we lost Leo that year, and we know how bad he wanted to win a state championship with us.
You have all this belief that this is going to be it. You know, you're going to bring the first state title since 1980. I mean, we have this buzz. We're 21 wins, and then the air's let out. And the guys who played, I mean, we have Leo Williams, who had done so many great things as well, and other guys who had bought in, you know, guys who had been within the program for the last couple of years. We end up losing. You know, of all teams you're going to lose to, you lose to Cathedral. I mean, of all teams. And you have to watch them celebrate.
It hurting me. Yeah. It just hurt me. We couldn't beat Cathedral when they put me out my senior year.
And I can remember being in Warren Central's locker room after that game, you know, and guys are bawling, and, you know, with like Leo and Jacob, it's over.
And he was injured for a long time, and he spent a lot of time in rehab.
He was out for 9 more weeks. He missed a lot of major events, you know, like the World Games, and I mean, all kinds of stuff. So, you know, some people thought he was just sitting out, but it was the farthest thing from the truth.
I used to say to them, successful people are willing to do the things that unsuccessful people are not.
I remember that night, sitting up, and Trey and I started texting back and forth about, let's build this schedule. And we said, let's get Huntington Prep. You know, anyone that had somebody, all the Mr. Basketball candidates, let's put them on our schedule. Let's really get ready for this tournament. And we went back to the office and we did our board. We had seniors, juniors, who's all coming back.
We went about it the hardest way possible.
The next year, you know, I think we came out real strong. Like we really had it on our shoulders that we was gonna be the team to beat, and we was gonna, you know, try to make a run for another championship.
We are going to take on some of the major prep schools, the ones who are ranked in the top 10, and we're going to earn everything we get.
That's the moment that it all happened, that night. And so, you know, we go into that last year, and I've never been around a more determined group than I had been that group.
We were making noise at the Summer League, you know, the Carmel tournament, and it was a few games that Trey wasn't even with us.
You know, Trey didn't play with us in the summer because he went to FIBA.
We just, you know, we wished him luck on the Canadian basketball game and stuff, for him to, you know, go and play for his country. That was a great experience for him.
The summer before we played the championship, it prepared us a lot.
He was gone, and those other guys had to step up into bigger roles. And so that summer was really, really big for us.
I think we only lost like one game that summer.
It was teams that was supposed to be, you know, top 10 in the state, and it was just like they were no match for us.
Just playing without Trey, I think it brought us together more. So it's like, you know, when one of our guys are gone, if somebody gets injured, you know, your brothers, you know, we're gonna pick you up. We're still gonna fight until the end. So that summer was really big for us.
Like, we had so many pit bulls on the team, but at the same time, that's what made us a great team. Because it was like, you got all of these different characteristics, but at any given moment, anybody can be that guy when they feel like it.
But I think we all knew they had this dominant team. You know, Trey, of course, was a centerpiece, but Mikey Jones, you know, Jeremy Tyler.
I remember talking to Mike about why he didn't want to score, why he didn't want to do this, and he was telling me that he knew he had to sacrifice it because that was the only way we was going to win.
You know, they had guys who could also carry you, even if Trey was having an off game. C.J. Walker's emergence by his sophomore year, he became probably the best point guard in the city, you know, if not, you know, elsewhere around the state by his sophomore year. He was really good. He was younger, but he kind of had an old soul to him too, where he acted like a veteran player. And he was a true point guard on that team. He wasn't really looking to score a lot. He was the floor leader. He was not scared either to tell you, you know, even the seniors. He would step up and say what needed to be said, and they gave him that ability too. They didn't try to say, you're a sophomore, we're seniors, you need to shut up. You know, they would let him kind of do what he needed to do with that team.
Going into that senior year, we had Justin Parker transfer in from Northwest.
He started for me his junior year. He played for me a little bit his sophomore year, but JP is a kid that developed over the years. He really worked hard his freshman and sophomore year, and he really had a lot of ambition to play varsity, and he put that hard work in, and it played out for itself.
To recruit him, we did it in the summer, and we were playing Northwest, and we set out a jersey for him, just on the chair, set a jersey out. And he's going out there and playing. We're like, that's yours, man.
Another defensive player.
My role was to knock down shots and guard the best player, you know, day in and day out. And it helped, you know, I would guard great players in practice like Jeremy, CJ, Mikey, and Trey. Like, I would guard those guys. So by the time it was game time, I'm just practicing against one of my teammates.
Knock down shooter when he gets it open, and another player that we put in the middle of the zone to make decisions for us when team zones us.
He was a major piece of what we needed. He was that long defender, and to see how those guys embraced him when he transferred in and took him in.
Yeah, he's came in and, you know, fit in perfect with us. You know, a great defender, scores when he needs to.
Played his role, did what he's supposed to do, respectful.
You know, just a guy that will always do the little things when everything wasn't going right for everyone else.
He was one that you had to warm up to him a little bit, and once he knew you were there for him, he was gonna let you in a little bit.
I love an emotion. Somebody gonna get married to this song. Over you. Hey, throw this nigga a one. Could be. Get it, bro. Just hold on, going home. Nah, you push. Just hold on, we're going home.
And off the court, he's a character like everybody else, so it's great to have him be a part of our family.
Everybody knew what they meant to the team. Everyone brought something to the table. Like, I always thought of it as a body. You can't have 5 arms. Like, you know, someone has to be the leg, somebody has to be the eyes. You know, everyone does their part.
So that you know, they had the best talent, I think, going in. You just didn't know You know, the tournament's fickle sometimes. Sometimes the best teams don't win. Even in Marion County, coming out of sectional, sometimes that's the hardest part, you know, is getting through there. So that was the biggest question, you know, there was about that team. It was just, you know, they had the talent. Could they put it all together and make that run?
We start that year off basically championship or bust. No pressure, because we know it. We set our own standards. It was the final act. There's nothing else after this. This is win or go home, big or nothing.
This is going to be my 10th year as a head coach. That we've been able to do is turn around programs. If you look at the last couple of years, the teams that we have lost to in the sectional are teams that are led by seniors. This year is our time, and we are led by seniors. Seniors who have watched the last couple of years. I expect the seniors to lead.
Even during the preseason, I'm waking up at 5 a.m., going to morning practices, and Coach K from Duke is there. And like, who gets to experience that? So that's when I kind of knew that this year was way different and it was a time to be valued.
First day of basketball practice.
Time to wake up. Chill, man.
I expect the seniors to be at everything. I expect the seniors to be the first ones at everything.
Morning, Dad. Hey, Jeremy.
What's up?
Morning, Coach.
November 11th, 6 a.m., first day of practice for the 2013-14 season. The final act is beginning today.
We've got to make sure that we're using guys to the best of our abilities. And we're going to put some of you in situations where we can get the most out of you. I'm going straight here. I'm feeling that guy. You're going to catch his finish.
His weight's on the screen and get it. Okay? That makes sense? First thing. Let's start that over again. I'll take that first step.
Coach Smith is the guy who will debate you and put a foot in your behind.
Coach Smith was the defense guy. He was showing us what to do in the defenses when we run in them and making sure we're doing the right things in the defense.
Ball comes in. Throw it off. You looking at it. That's it. All right. Take it for granted. Drill. Okay. As you come, hands up. Straight.
And Coach K played for me for 4 years at Southport. You look at him, he's not very big, he's small, but he is a guy who works his butt off in the gym. His junior year, #1 3-point shooter in the state of Indiana, still the 8th best percentage of all time.
He worked on everybody's shot. He tried to make sure everybody's shot was right and getting everybody to shoot right.
Let's get in our 5 positions. Sean, with this, you're going to be a rim runner. We ask ourselves, how can we increase your value on the floor? And it would be him, it would be Shaw, Mike, we may put you in this position at times. Now this can change. Remember how we play, we get the rebound, we're going with it. So this is where the communication is so important.
We all kind of had a sense of urgency. You know, that senior year, our practices were intense. It was just, you know, war, you feel me? And I felt like that's what it had to be. You know, if we can play hard against each other, then, you know, just imagine what we can do against the next team.
Warren Central kept emailing me and wanted us, so once again, they can have us. We opened them here the night before Thanksgiving. For 12 of you, I believe, this begins the last seasons that you will play high school basketball. So we want to show the state and also the nation this year what great young men we have, what great teammates we have, how we love each other,
and how we will play for each other. A lot of alumni back tonight, and that's why, you know, we didn't have a game on this Wednesday night. I wanted to make sure we got one, and that it was at home. So we could see some of the guys who were here from the very beginning. Each and every game is aimed towards this. Each and every game. We just got to go out there and perform. So,
let's go. Let's go, y'all. Family on three. Family on three. 1, 2, 3. It's that time, baby. It's that time.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
We expect to come in and dominate everyone, and it just didn't happen right away.
I feel like our defense got to be better. We was kind of late on our rotations and stuff.
We just had a lot of jitters, so we was like kind of nervous.
First game, very close game with Warren Central.
I'll take an ugly win over a beautiful loss any day. A lot of things to improve on. One, we've spent 2.5 weeks, whatever it is, on defense, and we gave up 65 points. Our average last year was 54. We get shots at the basket, we got to finish. We have them miss a shot, we got to get the rebound. Coach Smith, anything?
Defensively, we sucked. Like really, really bad sucked.
Coach Smith is intense.
We're hedging with our arms instead of stepping over and closing off gaps. We won this one, and I'll take it. But another foul, that could easily been in the other direction.
Who gets the W tonight?
Coach Delaney would select 1 to 3 players on who gets to draw the W, who contributed the best.
It was only the first game, so we're going to get a little better. We're going to get better from here, but I feel like we weren't as prepared as we should have been.
Our second game of the year, we go up to Gary to play Bowman, who is #1 in the state and 3A at that time, and they end up losing in the state championship to Greensburg. And we go up there, and it's a big showcase.
You know, when we go on the road, our fans, they travel, but they didn't travel as much as the other teams' fans would if they was to travel. So when we went on the road, it was, most of the time it was just the team versus everybody in the gym, and plus the rest and everybody. So the bench just had to give the people on the court a lift to kind of go harder. You know, you got support out here, even though you might not hear it in the stands, but the people on the bench, we got your back too. So we're gonna be cheering for y'all no matter what happens.
I'm Ken Knipe. I'm a 49 graduate of Tech. This is my wife, Joanne. She was Joanne Mitchell. She's a 50 graduate. We've seen, I'd say, 95+% of the games since the 46-47 season. Well, we're at Gary tonight. Okay. Up at Bowman Academy.
We have to sit in the stands for about an hour, hour and a half because they're behind. And so by the time we even start playing, it's probably 11 o'clock at night. We end up losing that game.
Go up to Bowman and drop a game.
I didn't think they were going to lose. I didn't think they were ever going to lose.
And the state's in shock, and it's like, they're losing games.
I mean, you talk about disappointment.
We wanted to go undefeated that year.
I just feel like a lot of people was just looking so far ahead at the championship game that they didn't realize it was steps that needed to be took. You know what I'm saying?
And you start the season off 1-1, so there, you know, we just go back to the drawing board.
It's easier for us to forget who we playing that night. Come on, man. The people on the bench could have been starters for any other high school, 4A.
Coming up next, you're getting ready to travel to Kentucky and play Louisville Ballard, who's #1 in the state, and they had Keelan Martin, who just graduated from Butler, and Quentin Snyder, who was at Louisville. And then you have Huntington Prep, #3 in the nation. So you're coming off a loss to Gary Bowman, and you're like, which way is this going to go?
I think there were a few points where we bonded really well. The Kentucky trips were really well.
Anytime you can get a group of high school kids to go somewhere and spend some time away from school, away from family, away from all the kind of other distractions, I think it's really valuable.
We had been waiting for this Marshall County Hoop Fest for a while because they brought the best of the best in.
We will play in front of both nights. We will play in front of a crowd of 5,200 people. To give you an estimate, they sell it out every year, and it's been around for a long time. The next night, we play the #1 team in the nation. That's the whole United States of America, Huntington Prep.
And there's a snowstorm, so we were supposed to play a game on Friday night and Saturday night. Well, the snowstorm postpones that, so we have to play at noon against Louisville Ballard, #1 in the state of Kentucky, and then that night we'd have to play against #3 team in the nation. So it doesn't seem very easy, but we turn it. We jump out on Louisville Ballard, and they come back and take a lead, and it's pretty slim. And John Roberts hits a 3 to send it to overtime. We win in overtime. That night, you can tell the kids are nervous. It's a nice crowd. Oak Hills is there. You know, all these powerhouses. And here's Arsenal Tech, you know, the inner city school. And we're going against Huntington Prep, who had just produced Andrew Wiggins, who's at Kansas, and then will be the #1 pick. And Jalen Lindsay went to Providence. I mean, you just talk about a stacked team. That was them. And so our kids are real nervous. And I remember telling them in August, when we had our first meeting, we will beat Huntington Prep because a program will beat a bunch of talented individuals.
I just want to give it out. No one gives better pregame speeches than Jason Delaney. He knows how to get you fired up.
I can't say on camera what I said, but the kids still and the coaches still laugh about it.
There was a specific coach out there who was pretty famous at Oak Hill, and he got to naming all the players he coached: Carmelo Anthony, Quinn Cook, all these famous guys, and it seemed like he was giving him a lot of praise, but then he finished it with, F him, like, this is our tournament, like we belong here too, blah, 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 and we just got fired up with him.
It was to motivate them because you could tell they were scared.
I think that speech helped us tremendously. We started off the game pretty high, fired up. I just remember we jumped out on them though. I remember at first, we was nervous, but once the ball tipped, all that was out the window. Then we saw once we figured out, they bleed too. So it was like, let's go at it, and we ended up beating them.
Yes!
We ended up winning by 3. And you talk about a cool atmosphere when we win that game. I still can remember the picture in the tunnel in my head today that I still have on my phone. And I mean, what a cool thing. You just beat the #3 team in the United States of America.
And that was one of those moments where we just bonded, like, yo, we can really do this. We beat that team, and then we go back and beat Huntington Prep the same day. And we got a good shot to be nationally ranked.
We can win big games. We can beat the good teams, the teams that are nationally ranked. Here we are, Arsenal Tech, and we can beat those teams.
We gotta beat Cathedral. Yeah. Go Titans, beat Cathedral.
I want them to get out here and play hard and they can win.
It was like Coach Delaney, it was like he went through all our records and brought up all our records against all the teams that we played back in the day and how our record against them weren't really that good. And he really emphasized Cathedral. Like, Cathedral was really our rivalry game, and we lost to them all the time.
When we first got to Tech, Tech hadn't beat Cathedral in 13 years. And so, that's where that rivalry began.
This rivalry with Cathedral was to me, that was the big thing at the time. And I'd written about that a lot. I think there was one year they played 4 times in one season.
4 times in one season. When I say that out loud now, that seems ridiculous.
it was 2-2, I think. They split the 4 games.
One game you can walk away and you can say, you know, hey, good game. If you play the same team twice, somebody's going to get scuffed and there's going to be bad blood. If you play the same team 4 times in a season, you're going to hate each other by the end of that year. And I can't speak for the players, but from a fan's perspective, I hated Cathedral.
Andy Fagan, who was the coach at the time, there wasn't, I mean, you talk about a true rivalry. That was a true rivalry where you don't like each other.
But they had everything was in place going into that year. It was just, could they get over the Cathedral hump and get out of that sectional? That was kind of the biggest thing.
I remember this game because this was our first chance to play them after the heartbreak the year before, and we're up 44-11 at halftime. Like, we just took it to them.
If you beat them, that was a success. You know, you don't have to, Tech football, Tech basketball, 2010, 2011, you didn't have to win a state championship to be good. If you could beat Cathedral, that's a championship season right there.
After that sectional loss, Trey's junior year, we never lost to Cathedral again. 6 straight times of beating them. And we took pride in that. So that's definitely one of the highlights of that year.
December 19th, mark your calendar. It's going to be a historic night for Tech basketball, for the city, which we represent.
We were supposed to play Chicago Curry, who had played the previous year with Cliff Alexander. We were supposed to play them about a week later on ESPN. Been working on ESPN for a year and a half. You know, we have Trey Lyles, who had committed to Kentucky in November. And so they called me up and said, Chicago Curry's out. The only way we're gonna let you play on ESPN, not ESPN, you or anything, the ESPN after Duke UCLA is for you to play Huntington Prep again. I'm like, we just played them about a week and a half ago. And they're like, if you want to play on ESPN, that's who you have to play. And so we said, okay, let's do it. It's at Arsenal Tech. We had worked so hard to get that done.
Have you ever thought that you would see Tech play a high school basketball game on ESPN?
No, I didn't. I never imagined that. I didn't think that would ever happen.
Are you recording this game at home?
Yes, I am.
How many times do you think you'll watch it after tonight?
Probably at least once a year for years, maybe more often.
Being one of the only IPS teams to do this, I feel like we go down in history for this.
Definitely one of the funnest days on campus. Funnest days, like one of the days I remember the most from my senior, because me and Charlie got to interview Mike Epps that day, all because Tech was on ESPN. Like, that's, my brother went to elementary school with him. Like, that's big for me.
We talked about Trey Lyles. Trey Lyles, 6'10", 220 pounds. He's not the biggest, strongest kid, but the base that he plays with reminds me of Alan Henderson. He's actually the all-time leading rebounder in history of Indiana University basketball.
That game, I remember, I never forget tip-off.
first play dunk.
They won the tip, we got a steal, and then Justin Parker takes it down for a dunk.
Perkins turns it over on the move. Here come the Titans. That's a good start from Justin Parker, the senior.
Yeah, that was probably one of the highlights of my career. I remember asking, I'm a religious guy, and I remember before the game, I was like, God, if I don't score 1 point, just let it be a dunk. And it's crazy, the very first play of the game, I dunked it. I'm like, wow, okay, God, I appreciate that one.
Jason Delaney, Lafayette Central Catholic, just outside of Purdue's radius.
Lafayette Central Catholic. Go to middle school. Get in the middle of the zone. That's skill right there.
Mike Jones, the senior.
Go for just a junior.
How about that, Dan? They keep them inside the zone with Mikey Jones.
Tell you what, playing in the middle of the zone is a real skill. Not everybody can do it. Just because you're a good player doesn't mean you can play in the middle of the zone. And Mikey Jones is doing it right.
1 quarter gone. We're tied at 16.
Oh, he's improved. How about that pass? How about that pass? It's just a little touch pass. Larry Bird, they always say about Larry Bird's a fame. The Big 8, the Big 12. Kid's going to be good at Ball State, I'm telling you. Shoot the basketball, Jeremy. Look at this.
Tyler hit the 3, gets the steal, and finishes.
How about that for a back-to-back? Hey, my man here with the steal. This is after he knocks in a 3. Now, I don't know what they listed now, but he's 5'0". But he can fly. That's at the buzzer. Looking like Purdue's Ronnie Johnson. Just knocks it out. That's all.
That was contested. A little late by Thomas Bryant, but that was 6'9", closing out on 6 feet.
C.J. Walker, only a sophomore, on national TV, at the buzzer.
Jones, top of the key 3. Now just a 6-point game.
Watch this, but here's the deal defensively. First rule of thumb is what? Stop the basketball. How do you do that? You communicate. There's not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 guys back for Huntington Prep. And this is what you were talking about early, Paul. Lack of communication because it takes a while to become a team.
1-point game in Indianapolis. A 20-1 run in the last 5.5 minutes to close the quarter. Arsenal Tech looking good heading to the 4th.
Doing that. You're right. Same side, lay it in, be strong.
Clutching his left knee. Behind the knee as well.
He's rubbing his calf muscle. Maybe just a cramp, we hope. He got up quick. That's a good sign. Very good news.
Huntington Prep's got to bring pressure here.
Good things happen at Ball State.
That's our ball game. Arsenal Tech 78, Huntington Prep 70. For Dan Dockich, Paul Biancardi, I'm Mike Cousins saying so long from Indianapolis. Now let's send it over to SportsCenter.
Enjoy it. Be proud of that. Fellas, we went on national TV against a national powerhouse. We didn't try to go one-on-one. And what it shows tonight, too, he had a below standard game, scoring-wise and everything. Didn't complain, didn't cry, didn't say all that. But you know what? Other guys stood up. And it shows that we are a team. We are a team. Mike Jones, Justin Parker, C.J. Walker, other guys. And that's the awesome thing. It's because now the state has to look, how do you defend these guys? You can try to take away 1. You can try to take away 2. But how do you defend them? There's other guys. I hope the district, I hope the school appreciates the way we did things tonight. I hope they do. Because you guys represented with class, you represented and you showed Arsenal Tech. IPS. When IPS doesn't get anything positive, you showed that you can stay at your high school, a public high school, and still be the powerhouse. Because each and every one of you have been loyal. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys.
And for Leo, for Jerome, and everybody else that was before, before this, they're coming right with us. Because all of them, everybody here was part of making this thing move, man. Every high school coach in the state watched this game, whether they were here or on TV, they watched it. When nobody, for the most part, thought that we would do this tonight. A lot of these cats came here expecting us to get blew out. But man, you brothers, you young fellas stepped up and got it done.
Like, we might have been a little nervous because of what they had on their chest, but we was not scared at all. Like, we wasn't scared at all. Okay, we back home. We gonna show home how we beat up on big people. You know what I mean?
Man, I'm very proud of y'all. So proud.
That's the word right there. Don't erase that word. Keep that word on that board. That's what you played like, not only tonight, that's what you've been playing like all year long.
Jeremy got on SportsCenter top 10 for a dunk. Trey played really well. I think CJ played really well. Like, our whole team had a nice game. Mike Jones got to showcase his talent a lot, like that people underrated. But I feel like that game was special. I think that's one that everybody will remember.
Once we won on ESPN, like, that's when it really took off for us.
I tell you, there's a lot of people who want to see us lose. There's a lot of people in purple, there's a lot of people in red, there's a lot of people in IPS colors too that want to see us lose.
Our kids, they were never seen as being able to be students of the game and think the game. It was just, you have great athletes, but you lack the skill. We tried to incorporate all of that.
34 is a shooter, 5 3-pointers against Kokomo. So if you're guarding 34, he will shoot. Okay, Mike, you catch in the middle here. You're going to attack. This is where Blackman's going to play. So you've got choices to make. You can attack, 40 steps up. You've got him on the baseline now. If he gets the ball against him, he's got to play defense on Trey. So you become the key to this right here. But here's their lineup. He's always going to be your base in the basket. He's going to be to your left. Blackman's number 24. Okay? We're going to run multiple guys at him. He is no catch anywhere on the floor. That means he does not catch the ball. You're going to say it any clearer. You deny him and do not let him catch the ball. We force 4 other guys. Will he score a couple passes? Probably at some point. But we're going to make life hard on him. We're going to play defense on him like he's never seen before. JP will guard him, Mikey will guard him, Dante will guard him. We're going to get guys' attention by shutting down James Black. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, Fallon, buddy! Yeah!
They have a really good player. Really good player. But when it came down to it, and we took him out of it, so I'm proud of how we did it. JP, Mike, Dante, I thank you guys. Josh, a couple possessions did really well. Mike, another fabulous job. Just had another mention. Just say how much you've improved, and it's the truth. I continue to get calls about you.
Everyone kind of talks a lot about kind of the big 5 or the big 6 even of the players that were kind of at the center of most of that season. But you had a good group of guys that played their roles. I mean, didn't play in a lot of games, but were very serious about what they were doing and could push some of those. I mean, it would have been very easy for CJ and Mikey and Trey and some of those guys to really start to realize how good they were and to kind of start not doing the work that they needed to do. And that never really happened. So I think some of those other guys on that team, I think they were really important to kind of help get that program built.
I'm Patrice Harris, Dante Gladney's mother. Oh, it's very important. Teach these boys morals about their self-respect, how to treat people. It's very important. And I think we do good as a family.
Dante Gladney, who is one of our better defenders that year, at 6'2". I'll give him 3 just to say he got the inch, but he was just tough.
I admit he was probably a better defender than I was, man. He was great. He was a great defender.
Donnie was one of my favorite players on the team because his energy. I was more laid back, and we always used to go at it in practice. And he never let me just be chilling, because if I chill, he gonna take advantage of that. And that's my bad habit, is just chilling, being calm and being lazy, and he won't let me do that. And the coaches knew that, and he wanted to have my spot. And as being young, yeah, that's what he supposed to do.
I felt like I had to prove something. There was a lot of good players on that team at the time, great players as that. So I felt like I had to prove something, and I wanted to go hard, get after it.
It would be very competitive at the same time. He was like my little brother. He was like me. We was like each other. If we can relate, he probably the most player on the team that I could relate to. If somebody don't understand me on the team, I feel like it'll be him. If I come out, I gotta talk to him, let him know, okay, this where his weakness at, and because he was a defender as well as me. And I try to help him with the role I play. Even if I leave, I feel like I should pass it down what I know to the people that's younger, and he took advantage of it.
CJ's a big part of what we do.
I knew I had to be better than what I'm usually am. Trey knew he had to be better than what he usually was. Everybody on the team knew they had to be better. Like having somebody else come in, and it's not really a drop-off for us.
Rashawn, great game, very responsible. You did your role. You did what this team needs you to do to be successful, and you shined out there.
Rashawn, he's an athletic freak. It's crazy, dude.
There were some things we see him do in practice, and we're just like, what? And so when it would come time, like in dunk contests and stuff like that, we're like, oh, we've seen this before. Like we became so used to some of the things that he was able to do and how high he would get.
Jumps out of the gym.
And we all knew he could jump out of the gym.
Rashawn jumped out the gym.
And Rashawn was a kid that was, I think, 6'1", 6'2", and then grew to 6'7" overnight.
I feel like, my role was to come in and, bring a little energy. I always like to, get the exciting plays, the dunks.
And that's what made people exciting. Everybody waited for Rashawn to get a dunk. Like that is what brought the crowd up and off their feet.
Man, all you got to do is throw it up, and he's just gonna go dunk it. He was a great bailout to have when you're driving. They might have a 6'8" guy. He's gonna block your shot. You just throw it towards the rim. Rashawn's gonna clean it up for you. He was a great help side defender as well. He was a good rim protector.
Great basketball player. As a person, Rashawn was always very respectful.
He was a great kid.
Now John and JP are still learning the system. JP did a great job. Stepped up, shot was ball.
Definitely the first time we played Lake Central, I led us in points. Like I had like 20 points.
We're not a one-man team, we're not a two-man team, heck, we're not even a 3 or 4-man team. We're a team.
John Roberts, he was a great backup. When I remember when CJ got hurt in the middle of the season, he held it down for like 4 or 5 game stretches.
Very, very proud, John. You did a good job with the most minutes you've had. You did a good job.
Bringing in John as a guard this year has helped just give us depth. Any thoughts there?
He's a great point guard, very strong. We needed another point guard to back up CJ. He comes in and he plays his role, so we're grateful to have him.
He was kind of quiet too. I feel like he kind of felt like an outsider because he was coming from Pike and he hadn't been there for long.
But everybody pretty much knew John before he came, just from AAU circuit and playing winning.
And that was the best scout that anyone's done against us. We called out Jaguar and they were yelling out what we're doing, and the players knew it. I was impressed by that. Tomorrow night when Bart Tudor steps on the floor with us and they played the Covenant Christian Universities and Beach Groves and beaten them by 40 or 50 or whatever, when we put 30 on them, I want them to know how it feels.
I think the game against Park Tudor was really important. They got to play against another star player. We played against good teams a lot, but Trayvon Blue was like a star player.
That game goes down as one of the best high school games I've ever been a part of, really. Just seeing both of those guys, big time players, playing at their best ability.
Trayvon had 51 and Trey had 45 and 20-something rebounds. It was just two guys who were at the pinnacle of high school basketball, and that was so fun to watch.
We saw that Trey was, I think he had about 30 at third quarter, so it was might as well just keep feeding him. And we saw that Trayvon, he was doing the exact same thing. Every time he scored, Trey would go down and score, and it was just like, all right, we're just going to give the ball back to him and just let him do his thing, and we're there for the cleanup.
So you have Trayvon Blewett and Trey Lyles just going back and forth, back and forth. I think each of them scored over 50 points that game and went into overtime. And we won. And it was one of those moments like, okay, this is a different team. They've figured out how to win the big game.
For us to win that game and for Trey to have that big of a game, I think was important. It let him know that he's at that level, and it let the rest of the team know they can beat a championship team, because Park Tudor won 3 straight championships.
Yeah, that showed that they could step up and beat even the best players and best teams on a night where they're getting their best from him.
Wonderful art that the world can appreciate. When I make it happen, that'll be the day. But I'll tell then that I ain't gonna stop. Like Muhammad in the ring, boy, I ain't gonna drop. Even when my team wins, it's a fight for the top. Let me tell you one thing that I know, no doubt. I don't wanna work a job I don't give a fuck about. Let me wake up in the morning to the clock, now I'm feeling down. Spring up out of bed with happy thoughts all around. Man, I gotta get ahead, and this need to happen now. Cause I'm feeling like I'm running out of time. I'm about to be into my late 20s, man, this really ain't funny. I need to make some money for my honey and myself. up, what the hell? Then I play it back and I can tell that something got me feeling this way. Must be from the music that we create. Hustling's what we do every day. That's what it takes if you really wanna be great. If you really wanna be great. Do you really wanna be great? Yeah, really wanna be great. Every day create if you wanna be great. Something got me feeling this way. Must be from the music that we create. Hustling's what we do every day. That's what it takes if you really wanna be great. If you really wanna be great. Do you really wanna be great? Yeah, really wanna be great. Every day create if you wanna be great. I'ma put in that work, my blood, sweat, and tears into every single verse. I'ma get what I deserve, cause I know it don't work. That is something I've learned. What you're putting in is what you're getting in return. I'ma put in that work, my blood, sweat, and tears into every single verse. I'ma get what I deserve, cause I know it don't work. That is something I've learned. What you're putting in is what you're getting in return. I'ma put in that work, my blood, sweat, and tears into every single verse. I'ma get what I deserve, cause I know it don't work. That is something I've learned. What you're putting in is what you're getting in return. I'ma put in that work, my blood, sweat, and tears into every single verse. I'ma get what I deserve, cause I know it don't work. That is something I've learned. What you're putting in is what you're getting in return. Something got me feeling this way. Must be from the music that we create. Hustling's what we do every day. That's what it takes if you really wanna be great. If you really wanna be great. Do you really wanna be great? Yeah, really wanna be great. Every day create if you wanna be great. Something got me feeling this way. Must be from the music that we create. Hustling's what we do every day. That's what it takes if you really wanna be great. If you really wanna be great. Do you really wanna be great? Yeah, really wanna be great. Every day create if you wanna be great.
I think there could be a better theme for that team than family, because they were family. It's always better when they decide who they are. No one gave them that. They decided that they were family. And the great thing about it, they had been together. They had had some talented people who had come through before them or with them in their freshman and sophomore years, and they didn't have the kind of unity. And they didn't have the kind of connectiveness that Trey and those kids had by the time they were seniors. They were just different, and they knew it, and they were responsible young people, and they knew that this was bigger than themselves. And so family was a great way to put it, because they believed in each other. They did not get hung up on who the star was or who was scoring the points. The last person on the bench was just as important as the first person, and they kind of lived that. A lot of young people don't understand the moment. They don't understand their role in the moment, and they let events take them instead of them making events. But these students had a sense of who they were and what they needed to do. But the great thing is they created a greater family, because they brought all the alumni, the parents, the community, the city, all together to be a multiple, unique family.
Everybody bought into it because, we was an inner city school and we had a lot of challenges. So when we say we're a family, we mean everybody that's in Arsenal Tech, the community. We take everybody in as family because we're one and we all have to support each other.
It was all of IPS. The boys, the girls, the alumni, people that didn't even go to Tech. I mean, just people taking pride. It became one big family, and that was an IPS family.
Black, white, Hispanic, everybody was doing fantastic. And the opposing teams, we always got compliments about how nice the fan base was for Tech Titan fan base.
You're on different teams, so you got a family with your team, but then what does it mean? What does family mean for you?
Family mean really to stay together. Like, we both play with each other. Like, my family will cheer for him, his family will cheer for me, so it's really even, really.
Yeah.
Like, his family is my family is his.
Well, I think family means something extra at Tech.
because some of the kids come from homes where the parents may not be there. They may be living with an aunt or a grandma. So they kind of build a family with their peers and then with the other students.
It was a little bit interesting interacting with my peers who had different backgrounds. A lot of them came from poverty or single parent households, or their parents, one or both, were incarcerated. I was accepted by my classmates. I had known them for 4 years. We got along really well. And then with regards to the team, sport has the ability to transcend socioeconomic factors, your background, where you come from, who you are as a person. And the competition and working with my teammates really was able to bring us together in a way that just being peers in a classroom was not able to do.
And they look out for each other. Sometimes they sleep over at a friend's house if things are rough at home. Family is a deep thing with these kids.
How the parents play a big role is just like the parents were kind of like a team as well. Like the parents would come together, they'll communicate who would get the team meals and who would get the Gatorades, who want to buy the food, different stuff like that. Like the family was bigger than just the players. The players have relationships with parents, and even if it wasn't your mom or your dad, you'll probably still call them mom or pops or grandma, grandpa, stuff like that. Like everyone was on the same goal state. Everyone was focused and looking down the same direct tunnel vision path. And that's what made it sweet.
A lot of dads came together. A lot of neighborhood pillars came together to put that team together.
I was the father that was not there for both of those guys. I mean, no slight to their parents, their fathers, but they weren't there. My wife wasn't having it. You know, I had raised my sons and I really was ready to back out and say, okay, it's my turn. But she wasn't having it, and so, okay.
I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for my family and their support throughout the years of us, me and Jerome playing basketball. Them helping us becoming a better man. When me and my brother moved in with my grandfather, he asked us one question. He asked us, did we trust him? And we both said yes. And he asked us, did we really want to play? Did we really want to take this basketball thing serious? And we both agreed. It was like boot camp after that. I mean, you could ask anybody. I don't think I had any off time. I think I trained basketball every summer, like throughout the whole year. I was basketball every year.
I was playing for my mother. She always pushing me. She loved Tech. She loved the coaches. So she always was. At the time, my junior year, I wanted to leave Tech. Yeah, I was gonna go to Hal, where a lot of my AAU friends played at. So at that time, she was telling me to stay at Tech. Nah, stay at Tech. Nah. So I thank her for making me stay at Tech.
see you. Look at Alex, bro. Look at
Alex. You are always going to be a part of Tech history. No matter if you played 30 minutes, you played 0 minutes, you played 5 minutes, no matter what you played, you are now always a part of Tech history. That's my big message tonight. I am so proud of this team. I'm so proud of you guys for stepping up. I'm proud of you throughout this whole season, because tonight is not just about one game, it's about the season. We have worked to get to this point to win a championship. I cannot be prouder of you guys, because we talked about the legacy and the history we wanted to leave. And we have a lot more games to go. Do not give up on this season. Continue to work, earn things. Now on Saturday we have the #3 team in the state, Hamilton Southeastern. So we still got work to do. But make sure you take time to cherish tonight, because tonight has not been done since before you were born. You were not even born. Some of you were not even a thought the last time a city championship was won here. And it means a lot more maybe to some of the people in the crowd right now than to you, but it will sink in and you will cherish this.
Got something to say, bro? Shout out, hey, my boys at McDonald's All-Americans took, man, it's big things every day, you feel me? I'm not going to future Indiana All-Star, you feel me, going for it. Miss Steve, hold on, Miss Steve, come here. You got something to say for the camera? Hey, hold on, shout out Drew, man, he been working hard, you feel me? Shout out Drew, you feel me? Let's go. They got something to say, Davey?
After we won city, I think that's when everybody realized, like, okay, this is actually about to happen. You know, everyone was looking forward to it.
Success of the team created a better feeling for the students of being there, and that made you have a great school year. You don't have many school years like that.
In the years before, I'd never really seen a student section. And that year, those guys building that student section, and they traveled everywhere. And even after that year, that stayed. And I think that's what Tech needed. We needed, that's the student support. You know, we had the administration and all, and the adults, but that student support, that bond, like made it fun. And I think that the kids really enjoyed it.
Everybody cheering us on. I like that, the love everybody gave out.
The gym went from, as you've seen it, you know, maybe 100, 200 people in the gym to being completely sold out, to it being the place to go on a Friday, Saturday night, to having a following. It was just really cool.
We're in a position where we know we have to get there hours before the game to get to the front of the line so we get a good seat inside.
And it was like, man, this is really cool. All these people in green are here. And, you know, I'd covered games of Tech before, going back when they were winning 5-6 games in a season, and, you know, they're just, people weren't really showing up. And all of a sudden it's like, all right, here's this cool story where, you know, these people are coming back out of the woodwork and supporting this team.
I think it really did have an effect on just kind of the morale of campus. One of the things that we all always were pretty frustrated with is that you didn't have much kind of pride for being a Tech Titan, right? And so I think a lot of our students who had nothing other than buying a seat and going to games got to kind of experience Tech at its best. The morale of the community, the morale of the student body. I mean, I can still see Austin Dishman and Donovan Nance in their green suits at every game, and just really kind of being excited to be a part of Tech. In some ways, kind of even today, you kind of have more pride in being a part of Tech than you had prior to that. Just having that kind of success really kind of changed the conversation.
As we always said, those 4 letters on your chest mean something.
We won city on a messed up city week because we had a big snowstorm or something.
Right after the city championship, we have #3 in the state, Hamilton Southeastern.
So play city like on a Wednesday. We had to come back Saturday, I believe, to play HSE.
It's required for us to bring our grade sheet that Friday, and he said it. Bring our grade sheet Friday, and I didn't go to school, so I couldn't get my grade sheet filled out. And we had a game, I believe, Saturday, and he said, "You're not gonna play."
Jeremy didn't start. Jeremy Tyler.
Okay.
And I went, what the heck's going on?
Yeah! Good D, Eric.
You could tell the kids were kind of taking them lightly.
And you talk about no energy. As a coach, you can kind of see that.
Hamilton Southeastern simply outran them, got a lot of, and they were good shooters.
Coach Delaney puts Jeremy in the game. And I'm thinking, yes!
We struggled so bad where we knew it was still a big game. We needed this. We was gonna mess up our rankings, and we needed. So the second half, about CJ and a couple of guys and the coaches, they huddled up and was like, "We gotta start. Let's play in the second half."
They would beat Tech down the floor and get open shots, and they hit them.
And we actually came back, but the fourth quarter, they was a very good team installing the ball. And they was hitting their free throws, and they still ended up losing.
They actually beat them. They simply outplayed Tech in that game.
We went off about 15, 20 games straight.
I feel like they just got a big head and let that one slip away.
I feel like at the moment in time, I feel like we got too confident and we got too cocky and we got too overwhelmed with being number one.
You know, sometimes you've got to go through some adversity to get to where you're going.
Right there, the kids realized we can lose first round of sectionals and it's over.
I feel like that was important because that lets you know in the middle of a season, you still can't let up on that process. The process of being a champion is a season-long process. It doesn't just start when the tournament starts. Like you can't just be a sleeping giant for 32 games and then when the last 7 games come on, now you want to wake up and show people your authority. That's not, no. You gotta show people you a giant the whole season, even in the playoffs. And I feel like those losses was kind of punches in the mouth, just to let us know that even though we were very talented, and we had all these pit bulls, and we had all these people that just had different characteristics within their game. That just let us know that the best can always be beaten. The best can always be beaten. Yeah.
The best can always be beaten. All you gotta do is go out there and just beat them.
That year was, we were led by Trey. Trey was our leader, and it all started with him. And he was one of those guys that he wasn't going to let anybody or anyone of the other teammates
let us fail.
At the beginning of the season, did you guys have a goal as a team?
Definitely to be nationally ranked as we are and be in a contention for a national championship. Win city, which we did. We accomplished that. Now next up is cities. Not city, but sectionals now. So that's the next thing on the list is to win sectionals.
You've got a couple younger guys, Dante, Eric.
Those guys come in every day and they work hard. And if you were somebody coming in out of nowhere and just coming in to watch practice, you wouldn't be able to tell that they're underclassmen.
Oh, Donnie was kind of one of the quiet ones, actually. Donnie didn't really do a lot of the joking like everybody else. He did, but not like everybody else. We used to really joke.
Donnie didn't want to show emotion. Donnie was a tough guy. Donnie was a tough guy on the court. He was physical on the court, playing, but he was very prideful. Like, he took a lot of pride in what he did.
Same with Eric Meeks, was a tough defender and a shooter.
Meeks could shoot. Meeks could. All our left-handed guys, they just could shoot. Josh, CJ, Meeks, they could really, really shoot. He was a great defender as well.
Eric called me Mama Ski. He was like a son. Eric came in every day. Mama Ski, what are you doing? And do you have a snack? Do you got something to eat? Do you have, can I get something?
Josh Whitfield, who was the comedian of everyone, and
I would say he would be the ringleader of the circus in the training room. Josh would be the one to start the jokes or to start the singing or the dancing. Like I said, before every game, they'd have their little powwow in the training room, and Josh would be the leader.
Josh Whitfield, who was just a character, and he was always the comic relief. If we were ever in one of those moments where we're a little bit tight, Josh would always say something funny, and you're just like, all right, it's just Josh. We're fine.
Josh, man, he plays a lot, but when it comes down to game time, he's serious with it. He plays his role. He's not going to do nothing that he's not supposed to do, and if he does, he knows it. He'll apologize for it. He'll make up for it. So Josh, he was a good player.
Devin Mickens was a good defender.
My role was I want to say it was confusing. It's just because I really didn't have a set role. Like Coach Laney told me to do one certain thing.
When Devin came on the court, the coaches told him what they wanted from him, and he did it. They said, Devin, you need to do this on defense, and Devin would go do it. Devin wanted to please, and he was able to do that. I think he was the kind of player, he didn't start, and he didn't play a lot of minutes, but he did the job.
I was just the person that kept everybody together, basically, helping each other, helping this person or helping this person.
He always knew what was going on. He was the one that always knew what was going on, where if I come out, he knew what I missed or another player or anything. He always had the information to help the next player out, and I feel like that was one of the most important players for me, especially see what the stuff I missed that I ain't see.
I thought he was soft.
And he'll tell me, yeah, you right, or handle it this way, and I respect him for that.
Deontay and Beck, they come out here, work hard.
You had guys like Jason Beck, and Murray, who were guys that didn't play a whole lot, but everyone was embraced and was important.
And they were just trying to help us. They felt like their job was to motivate us to go harder and push us in practice because they was on scholarship for football.
Basically, I want to just translate the football side to the basketball side, just keep us all together, all the way to the state tournament, just being a family, just everybody just come together and be a fist.
He was a football player, so Beck just made us laugh because everything he did in practice, it was so football incorporated, from running and stopping on the dime and all that.
His toughness was, even in practice, he was making me stronger, tougher, all that. So them two helped us a lot very well.
Shaw is our horse, call him Killer for a reason.
Shaw was a bully. He's probably the best trash talker I ever played with.
Shaw, the toughest kid that is only 6'1" that I've ever seen. I still have shoulder problems from him because I have the pad and he would just run into it. He just liked contact.
He would get me in trouble a lot. He'll talk trash to the best player knowing I gotta guard him, so it's just like,
God, Shaw was just rough. He was just a rough kid.
I was like, all right, I guess I gotta play better defense now because this guy's gonna try to kill me all because of Shaw.
They had some of the best young men of any team that this city really has known. County, city, urban, public, private.
I think you said it right. They were just good kids.
Devin Meek is one of the coolest dudes ever. Rashawn, one of the coolest, funniest dudes ever. Like they're just good people.
You have, players going out to local daycares, raising money for cancer, and
It finally became news stories. There's a news story on the student athletes our guys became. And so that to me it was important.
Why is community service important?
To give back to the community and show our appreciation to the community.
Friday nights, everybody come out and support us as we on the court battle with each other. So it's important that we get back to the community and support people.
I mean, I cannot say enough good things about these kids and the coaching staff.
I think the team that year sort of rallied the community around the idea that we're not just our stereotype of being an IPS school. We're not just all the bad things you hear about IPS.
It's tough for inner city kids to be coming up without just being judged, especially someone like me with dreads, tattoos, and really everybody know that I was really an inner city kid. So I really struggled with just communicating with other people, or I just really distanced myself because I felt like I was getting judged a lot.
And to kind of continue to hear that these are student athletes. This isn't Huntington Prep, that these are kids that are just coming here to play basketball. These are students, and they have their grade point average is well up above the threes. And
the senior year, our team GPA for varsity was 3.2. Those are the things that didn't get reported. Mike Jones gets a 29 on the ACT.
The kids that's growing up, that's looking up to me, especially, that really grew up in the inner city.
What's your name? Come introduce yourself. What's your name?
Elijah.
Elijah, all right.
Because the kids that grew up in the inner city, they gonna look up to me more than anybody else because they feel they going through my struggle as well.
For elementary school age kids and middle school kids who kind of saw themselves as kind of, they live in my neighborhood. These are my neighbors, and look how successful they are, both on the basketball floor and in school. This is what I can do this too.
We signed numbers of autographs from little kids after games that, guys I've never seen before, all colors, white, black, of all races, and it was just remarkable to me how, just off shooting hoops, all these kids looking up to you.
To find the kind of athletes where their GPA as a team was 3.2, and that's everybody, so that's just the average. So there's some 3.4s, 3.5s with Juman, 4.0s, 4.2, stuff like that. And usually a team's boundary is if you can't play on the team unless you got a 2.3 or better. But 2.3 is almost average, and 3.2, that's something that kids who don't play sports, that just straight to college, that's the type of GPS that they have. By seeing them not only performing on the court, but when the team's GPA was exceeding other teams' regular student rate, it was just it definitely made a statement.
They were on us about how people looked at us, Certain things that you do you may not think that people are paying attention or, but they are. So you always got to present yourself, well. So when we come to games, we had to have the right attire.
And I think Coach Smith was really good about pushing that. I think he wanted the best for that group of kids, and he pushed it. He wanted the kids to act like gentlemen. He wanted the kids to dress correctly, dress nice, be presentable. When we went to city council meeting, he organized that. He wanted to show off our kids as young men, not IPS students, because no one thought well of IPS students then,
I feel like we started out great. Took a couple losses already. One loss last week. We shouldn't have lost. We just came out with no fire, no passion.
Just an amazing job by that coaching staff of kind of keeping them focused and keeping them hungry and ready to kind of play.
Now's the time to really improve that. And the extra work you put in makes a difference as well. The more individual work you can get, the better you're going to be as well. I did see some good things Saturday night. I thought our angles were better at times. I thought how we played ball screens were better at times. But as we got tired, started to wear down, so did our defense. So we got to make sure that we can sustain that all games.
Yeah, and success is hard. When you win, it's not like it gets easier. Now, not only do you have those same struggles and you have kind of that same baggage that you just have being Tech basketball or Tech anything, but now you have that expectation that it's either win a state championship or it's failure.
For us to win the sectionals would mean not only great things for Arsenal Tech, it would mean enormous things for the city of Indianapolis.
Man, Army don't need a validation. Focused on me, don't care for allegations. Rumors mean nothing cause you hear it, you say it. You don't seem to understand that cause you're basic. Redecorate the house starting from the basement. Can't have a top unless you got a foundation. Why the f*** you play it? Why the f*** say it? Black and blue, but my real Caucasian. So how the f*** enjoy the re-up being racist? Show me money, you don't lie, give motivation. If you a hater, show me that's how you take it. You think the world owe you something, but you gotta face it. Everybody struggle, everybody hustle. You think cause you had it hard, you deserve
If you're from Indiana, you know about Landon Turner. If you are familiar with the late 70s, 80s, Landon Turner was Mr. Everything in Indiana. He was the big, goofy kid when he first come to school. I mean, he could play ball, but I saw him playing with IU, and I could not believe what I saw. This big boy running the floor like he did and doing the things that normally Bobby Knight doesn't allow people to do, but he let Isaiah, he took the reins off of him and let him run, and they spanked everybody. And unfortunately, Landon had an accident, and he's been in a wheelchair, and Landon had not been back to Tech since then, okay? And so I'm over there with the kids, and I'm trying to tell them about this history that we have here at Tech. And so I called Landon. I got in touch with Landon, and he kind of played it off, you know, and then I'm like, come on, man, you owe this to these kids. You know, they need to hear from you, because these boys are gonna make a run, man, and you can be part of this. And Landon came.
I want to know what's you all's goal in the state. I don't think Tech has ever won the state championship. This game right here, if you want to win championships, you've got to use this up here. Everybody thinks it's your physical talents. Everybody thinks it's, you know, you got to out-jump somebody, you got to out-shoot somebody, but it's all about this. Larry Bird, for example. This man cannot jump, I mean, he can barely jump over a court. But, you know what I mean? Everybody else is jumping to the moon. But because he used this up here, he was shot fake, get him up in the air, draw a foul, pass fake. I mean, he did the fundamentals. I mean, you should be a gentleman off of the court, but once you step on that wood out there, you should be a metamorphosis. You should be a beast. Even in practice, because practice, what you do in practice is what you usually do in the game.
But we want to make sure that this year, the tears are for joy, not for sadness, because we came up short, because we had the opportunity. The opportunity is here. Appreciate Landon Turner coming in. I appreciate Mr. Woodson getting him to come in today, because he is one of the legends of this school. He's a legend, a Hall of Famer in many different areas. That doesn't happen easily, as he said.
Once he came to speak to them, he promised them he was going to come to every game. And I believe Landon was at every game, the whole run that season, you know. And we would make sure that he could get the parking spot right up front. And the rest of it just, and he still talks about it. He's really happy about that.
It would be a pleasure for Tech to go all the way, as Brother Law said, to win the state finals. I think not only for the fans of local, but I think if Tech goes on and wins the sectionals, I think they not only will have the fans from Tech, but also they will have the Indianapolis fans as a whole. Okay. For all the IPS schools as well as the county schools, I think a lot of folks will be pulling for Tech.
I'm here today at the sectional semifinals, and I'm seeing guys from Broad Ripple, Arlington. I'm seeing old school guys, new school guys that are coming out here to support the Titans.
I am the uncle of C.J. Walker.
I'm a graduate from 1970 from Arsenal Technical High School, and I've been to every game so far. Nobody supports the inner city. Corporate sponsors is out, everything. And when we show the world and the state of Indiana that we can do it, hey, it's gonna be significant.
People think IPS, that they have this stigma that we're lower than, you know, anyone else around us, and these guys have proven differently. I'm more than proud of these guys, not only because of the way they're playing on the floor, but these are some nice young men. They're all great young men. They're all very well educated young men, and that's why they're winning, because they're very well-rounded people.
Eventual state champions right here.
We are the family. We're sticking together through the thick and the thin.
strength in numbers. That's why we stay together. Catch me grinding year round in any weather. Yeah, my teammate got my back, can hold me down. When we step up on the court, yeah, you know we pound. Yeah, we seen adversity, but we overcome. Lifting weights, squatting hard, so I can take off like a comet. See the highest mountain we can reach and then go hit the summit. We know it's gonna be obstacles, but we gon' overcome it. I love the fun.
It was the fourth quarter and a couple seconds before the shot clock went off, so it was feel like a buzzer beater to me. I mean, it was something big to me, but it was probably something little to a lot. But after I hit, all I remember seeing was the whole gym going crazy.
Murray scored!
Tonight, I'm very proud of you guys because we overcame a lot, and no call basically went our way in the first half, even in the second half. Tomorrow night, we get one opportunity, and last year we fell short, and once again, for 11 of you, it's your careers on the line. And with the underclassmen, there's no guarantee you ever get back until win the sectional. Think about how many good teams there are. Devin Davis never got a chance. He's playing IU, never got a chance to play for a sectional title. Don't let it slip by. So anything tonight can wait because you get one chance at this. It's either you accomplish it or it's over. That's the bottom line. So we're down to 5 wins. 5 wins. First class 3 points.
Murray Hillman, he was a great support guy. He was a great leader.
What do you see your role being this year?
It's kind of hard. I mean, this is my first time being on the basketball team, but honestly, I feel that I'll be there. So when we're going through adversity, I've been through a lot of adversity. So once adversity hit, I'll be able to let them understand that it's not over. Yeah. Keep it going. Shows on the road.
Football players, they different, where they always know how to motivate each other differently, and we needed that.
Our goal is to win state. That's what I'm here to help them do.
He wanted that ring more than anyone on the team because, they had lost in football. He was extremely passionate about it, and Coach Delaney was like, yeah, we got to get you on the team.
He started off as a manager, and then Mason quit, and we were like, hey, you got a jersey available? He's like, definitely jumping on it.
He got us hyped before every game. Our pregame dances, he led them. We was nay-naying and whipping, and he would always turn us up before the game started.
For Tech, it's been a while. Tech's had some great athletes, some great teams over the years, but this team has an opportunity to make history. It's been over 30-some years since IPS has had a representative play for the state championship. We've had sectional champs, regional champs, but now we've got a chance with this team, as talented as it is, with the conglomeration of coaches that have been put together to make it all the way. They've got all the tools necessary.
So we've got to really be ready to play tomorrow night because Roncalli stands in our way of our first championship out of 4. Roncalli's in the way of that. It's going to be a physical game.
Love Tech Titans.
Nobody can stop us. Nobody can stop us. Nobody can stop us. Nobody can stop us. We are the family. We're sticking together. Through the thick and the thin. You know we gon' win. Green and the white. Green and the white. We're talking about green and the white. Green and the white. And you know we gon' fight. You know we gon' fight. You know we gon' fight. We them Titans. Got the heart of a lion. We them Titans. Got the heart of a lion. We them Titans. Got the heart of a lion. 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 Yeah.
Then we play Roncalli in the sectional championship, and Trey scores 7 points, and Jeremy goes absolutely insane. And I think he had like 20 something.
Because they packed it down.
They packed it down on
right?
Trey.
Yeah.
And he just passed it out. And so
Jeremy Tyler's mom. I get to see how, he's really setting himself apart to be a leader instead of a follower, and he's being a team player, and just him being an all-around good person.
And so, going through the state, we play Lawrence North first, beat them by 30. We play LC, beat them by 30. And then it's Roncalli, which was a tough game when we win the first sectional title since 1978.
I remember the last time Tech won. Matter of fact, I was on the team in 1978, and it feels good that we finally brought that great winning tradition back here at Tech High School, and I'm really proud of these guys and the coaches and everybody. We got the sectional championship now. That's step one. Now we need to go 3 more steps for the state championship.
What? Hey, one step at a time, baby. Don't worry though, we got more coming. Just stay tuned. Get this money! Yeah, bro. I think it's like really good. We got regionals next week.
Check out say, bro.
Hey, look, check me out. Champs. I had
You gotta get Trey Oop on there. I had to get my triple double D on my jacket shoe back on.
Hey, 18. 100%.
Drop 40 tonight.
Close to
Jeremy had
Hey, I want to play as a team. Ain't nobody mistaken. God,
That's all we do, Hoopy Jays. That's all we do, Hoopy Jays. That's all we do.
Hold on.
How we doing, Hoopy Jays?
Hold on. I don't even care about him.
Go to Station, hey! Go to Station, hey! Go to Station, hey! Go to Station, hey! Tonight was not the easiest game. There's not going to be 30-point games every game because the competition's trying to win championships too. And so I'm proud of you guys. It's awesome to see like Jerome get up there and get a piece of net. The guys who put time in here but didn't have the sectional trophy to show for it. Richmond was up 12 on Pendleton Heights, so it looks like Richmond will be who we play in the Southport Regional.
Yes, sir.
Not the sectional anymore, regional, and it's 2 games at the regional. 10 a.m., 8 p.m. Pike beat Southport in overtime, so they're one of the ones that we could play in the championship, and it's either Martinsville or Brownsburg. But we've got to get through Richmond to get to the championship. We've left our mark in the sectional history. Like I said, it was awesome to have Landon Turner here. Last guy that did it. Who's got the W?
The W goes Coach Delaney. Coach Delaney for the sectional championship, baby.
Let's go, man.
Squad on 3.
I've been working out. I got my 6-pack now.
No, family out 3. 1, 2, 3, 5.
It's gonna be a good game. We feel like we should blow them out. Been getting in shape a lot, so.
What are you hearing about their team? What are their weapons for the morning game?
The morning game, nothing really, but number 23. That's all. He's a great shooter. He'll shoot from the perimeter, shoot from pretty much anywhere. And they got another point guard, number 24, who just basically drives and kicks. That's him.
What do we have to do?
Defense for one. That's big. That defense creates offense. So if we do that, we'll be good.
What have you heard about their team?
They kind of like a Bowman. They like to run and trap everywhere and stuff.
What do you think about the 2 games on Saturday? Does that worry you playing twice, or is that no big deal?
Nah, I don't think it's gonna worry nobody on the team. You know, AAU, we used to that 4 or 5 games a day, so that's gonna be nothing.
2014, March 15th, regional, 7 in the morning.
7:15 in the morning, we out here.
We were going to play this guy called Mike Tillman, and I remember us watching film, and he was shooting threes from almost half court. We didn't want, we were so big on defense, we didn't want him to score nothing past 10 points, I don't think so. I think Josh Whitfield was the one we put on him that game, and we was hyping his head so much, like, hey man, Mike gonna get this on you, gonna be all this lock. We want you to lock him up and all that. And I think Josh really went out there and locked him up. He liked it.
Everyone talks about the pink jersey game. We had wore pink as a road uniform a few times.
Both of my grandmothers are breast cancer survivors. A coach on our team, his mother was battling cancer. A player's mother was battling cancer. So it was, Trey's uncle, battled with cancer.
So earlier in the year, they had ordered a set of pink uniforms.
It was deeper than just, to look cute on the court. It was actually like, we was playing for something. We was, like I said, we represented IPS. We represented those people with cancer.
When they came out in those pink shirts, man, this is too cool, Dave. Yeah. This is too cool.
And so we were supposed to be dark uniforms, so we tried to wear the pink uniforms. Bobby Cox is there, the commissioner, and Southport makes the call, and they come in our locker room and said, you can't wear the pink uniforms. We're like, well, we don't have the green here. Well, you can't wear the pink.
For them to tell us we weren't able to wear the jerseys, it's like, why not? They're wearing white, this is our darker, we were wearing pink.
We had worn them before. I don't feel like it didn't make sense to us in the playoffs for us not to be able to wear a uniform.
They were wearing white. You're not going to confuse white with pink when you're on the court. I hope you wouldn't.
It's one of our uniforms. We wore it before in the season. I don't understand what was the big deal, because it was the state tournament. We can't wear pink, and it's not like we're trying to show off or anything. It actually hasn't caused any meaning for it.
Okay, and so Coach Lyles gets in his car, is flying back. Well, it takes him a little while to get back from Tech. We get a technical foul to start the game, so we're down 2-0.
This is regionals against Pike. This is a really big game, so we're already at a disadvantage starting the game off. So it was a bummer, but we were a very emotional team, so that added fuel to the fire. We was pumped up. We was like, all right, they're gonna pay for this.
The other team got to shoot the technical free throws and then got the ball.
We have to do what we do. We give up 30 points in the first half. And defensively, you got to get through that. Okay? You got stuck and you got the corner turn. quit jumping. It goes back to driving line. Just a hand up. And if they hit the shot, they hit the shot. But we're putting them at the free throw line. Just a hand up. There's no need for you to jump. They can't play a box and one. If all 5 of us are rebounding, we get stopped and then we push them. Understand?
It's a back and forth game. Pike, hats off to them, ran a defense that we had never seen before, where they focused on Jeremy Tyler, not Trey Lyles. And it was just weird, you know, it was something they came up with, and it was very effective.
We have one shot at this thing. We have one half to get to the semi-state, one step away from the state championship. How bad do we want it?
Let's get money, man.
We've got to want it more. Let's go.
And then we pull out the pink jerseys. And you have the legendary picture with Trey and all those guys holding up the regional champions banner or a little plate.
I thought only a Tech team would do this. They went to the bench immediately and took off their jerseys, their visitors' jerseys, and put on the pink jerseys for all of the pictures, for all of the net cutting, ribbon cutting, and I mean net cutting down. So they did it for that. And then it started becoming an internet thing where everybody was saying real Titans wear pink.
Rub it in their faces, why not? We're going to semi-state. We beat Pike. We're moving on. Since y'all tried to not let us wear the uniforms, we're just gonna put them on and celebrate it now.
We're not very popular. I've got to write a letter because the commissioner's pissed as hell that we put these pink on.
I can tell you that didn't go over very well. I did write an apology note and everything like that.
Oh, I did not know that. I didn't know that either. That didn't make the Indianapolis Star.
Because it was a statement about support. You know what? I had some cancer. A guy with kidney cancer come and thank me for that. There's a symbolism behind it, and it was a big stage to wear. So if we're down 2-0, that's the way it is. Take this night to enjoy it. This has not been done in 36 years. Only 10 times now has Tech won a regional. We're 1 of 10. After next week, we're 1 of 5 that's made it to the state championship, and after that, we are the only one. When we win the state title, we are the only one, and anyone that comes after us can only match us. Be happy, don't be satisfied.
Family on 3, family on 3. 1, 2, 3.
We were going to go on a cruise, and the cruise we wanted to go on was going to be during the basketball season. So I said, let's forget that. I said, we got to see every game this year.
You started to see kind of on the Tech alumni Facebook group and on their kind of website, all that excitement start. Hey, you guys got to come see these guys. We've got a real chance this year.
Most of us are here today with a group called Tech Fest. We have a big picnic every fall, and we have a Facebook page, and we'll be going to the state championship game too. And we're wishing the Titans good luck tonight.
Class of '98. Basketball is back at Tech, even with the academics, it's good. So I'm just very proud to be an alumni.
By the time they got in the tournament, the alumni were there, and it was a tremendous esprit de corps, and They really supported the team. You could feel the magic and support of all those alumni. We're talking about alumni from the 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s and all of those people coming back to support.
Alumni?
Yeah,
What
class
year?
of 74.
Class of 93.
Class of 92.
I graduated in 1974. And I graduated in 66.
Oh, okay.
Class of 92. Class of 1998. 98.
Proud alumni of class of 1998.
98. Class of 98. Go Titans.
Class of 98.
98.
Class of 98.
98.
Varsity.
Class of 71. Go Titans.
Class of 69. The best class
69, baby. Yeah.
Tech Titans, Andrew Robertson, class of 74. Why? Because we rock!
All the Arsenal Tech alums just came out to support us, and that kind of pushed us too, because we just had so many people supporting us, and we didn't have this many people ever before we even started this journey, and everybody just started coming out the woodwork to support us, and we really appreciated that.
Well, Mike and I are both, and we're both on the Tech Fest committee, and we came down here to support our team.
We're so excited to see them come back the way they have.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Once you're a Titan, you're always a Titan.
Yeah.
It's in your blood.
And they're good role models.
Yeah, they sure
For
are.
kids who need it so badly now.
Yeah.
And they make good grades. That's
Yeah.
the first. They had a big article in the newspaper today. They all have a 3.2 grade average.
Yeah, isn't that great?
They're
That's
no
great.
dummies. They're smart kids who get to play ball.
It really had a positive impact on the city of Indianapolis.
Mobilize the city. It didn't matter if you went to Arlington, Broad Ripple, Christmas Saturday. It didn't matter where you went in IPS.
You know, when we go on that state run, every place we were was sold out.
It really set in when we went to Richmond and sold out their gym, because their gym was pretty big for a high school gym, and we sold it out. It was like green everywhere.
Actually, the semi-state in Richmond was one of the most bizarre games I've ever seen before.
I was more so nervous because I couldn't play. I had a thigh contusion at sectionals. The first game of sectionals, me and CJ ran into each other, and I had a thigh contusion. So it was more so me not being able to contribute and help my guys out.
That game was just tough, just environment, intensity. I felt like I told you earlier, we had the target on our back. So, I knew that they were coming with a lot, of, I'm not gonna say anger, but, yearning to win. They wanted to say, okay, we took down Tech. So, yeah, they definitely brought it.
The team is looking very good. We're taking care of Bloomington North like we're supposed to. They can't handle our defense, and I think we'll keep it up in the second half.
They are on the ropes right now. You watch 12's body language, it's like they lost. So what we cannot do is go out there and just be like, oh, we're up by a lot.
The starters and stuff got up. They got up so far. They got up so high. So coach started to rotate the bench players in. And I don't think the bench, we wasn't ready to play that day.
I'm not going to say they didn't have experience or they wasn't that good because they play against the starters every day, but I just felt like they wasn't prepared at that moment. Like, we not going to get in.
And they took advantage of us. We had some turnovers. They was running it up the floor on us, and we started getting fouls and everything. So I would say the bench, we wasn't ready to play. We wasn't ready to get in.
You had to bring Lyles and C.J. Walker and Jeremy back off the bench.
After they started to chip away at the lead.
Yeah, because when they put the starters back in, they kept chipping away.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that turn. I mean, it slowed it down.
It slowed it down, but
they
kept
were
chipping
getting
away.
foul calls, and it was like our starters weren't stopping them either.
That was kind of an out of nowhere type of scare.
They felt like they was going to lose, but they also taught us something too as well because they had fight in them. And I really respect someone that got really fight in them, even though we was up 20 and 30, they had fight in them.
After the game, coach just told us, guys, as a bench, you got to be ready once we put you in because we're going to put you in.
Coach Delaney and I, one game he made some calls that we kind of thought was questionable. And after the game, I asked him about it. And Coach Delaney said, yeah, I messed up. That was a bad call. And Mr. Wilson, we're going to win this thing. I said, I believe you, man. I'm with you. And he was a humble enough man to say, I messed up. I almost blew this game.
Yeah, how many of you looked up at the crowd at some point tonight? You don't think those people won't remember you? For your 11 seniors, we have one game left together. One game. You have one game of your high school career left. Next Saturday night, a week from tonight, we will choose how we will be remembered. It's a choice. We're either remembered as one of the state runner-ups, or we become legends. You see how these people talk and act. So if you think I'm not telling you the truth, a legend. The city is behind us. The city is pushing us. The city has something that they can get behind. The city in this IPS district, these little kids, have a group of individuals that they can look up to that tells them that anything is possible. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter where you go to school. It doesn't matter that you can be a champion, that you can do things that people never thought you could do. Because the whole view of IPS has always been just people that can't control themselves, that can't play disciplined basketball, that a lot of can't make grades. We have smashed those stereotypes. So we have given people hope. We have a platform that God has put us on. God has put us on a platform to inspire others. You don't think the Knights come up and hug, and they're so excited. I saw some of you with them. At 80, 90 years old, you don't think we haven't inspired them? You don't get in your car and drive to Kentucky and all over Gary just because you want to see a basketball game. You have inspired people. So we finish what we have set out to. We didn't set out to get to the state championship game. We set out to win the state championship. Yeah, baby! I want to congratulate Jeremy Tyler. 2 things he accomplished tonight. 1, he went over 1,000 points. He is currently 8th all-time on Tech's scoring list. And I want to congratulate him. He is Tech's all-time 3-point league.
That practice that we practiced at Banker's Life that morning, the couple days before.
By the way, Miami Heat were in this locker room last night. So it looks like LeBron got sick there after they lost, I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm serious. I don't know.
you could feel it. You could feel the kids like really getting into it and really, you know, like taking it all in.
He's pissing. Greg Wayne.
So we need to get used to the court. The rims, as you can tell, there's not much give on them. So that's a little bit different than a lot of high schools that we've played in. So on the floor will be 84 instead of the 94 now. And we want to get shots that have depth perception. It's a lot different than what we're used to, and that's something we need to get used to as well.
Family on three, 1, 2, 3.
The basketball community in Indiana kind of knew who this team was by this point when they made it to the state finals. And
we did the tailgate out on Georgia Street first, and that was great because at that time, you didn't just walk around downtown Indianapolis and see people wearing Tech High School, you know, on their shirts and sweatshirts and stuff. And then you go down Georgia Street in 2014 and you're getting ready for the big game and you just see a sea of green everywhere, smiling, happy, you know. The vibe was definitely positive the day of.
Everything we worked for, you know, is finally here. We're this close to success, you know, like we could feel it, we could smell it, we could taste it, like, so. We were just glad that we survived. You know, Indiana basketball is crazy. You know, everyone is hungry, everyone is talented, you know. So we were just happy that we finally reached our goal and got there, but we still had one more game. You know, we knew, you know, our strategy, we knew personnel. We had already played them back in January of that year. So, you know, we was pretty familiar with everything.
It was just like one of them surreal moments that you there with guys you grew up with. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know each other's parents. I mean, everybody know each other's siblings. Everybody know each other's cousins, everything. So it's kind of like we really not even teammates. Like he said, we was more of a family. We was more of a brotherhood.
Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to go out there tonight and play one more game together, where we will go out and claim the state championship to be the first ever in school history, to bring it back to the city of Indianapolis and IPS. But more importantly for us, because we have worked over our high school careers over the last year to get here and win this championship. I thank you for each and every player tonight playing to the best of their abilities. I thank you for them having the best game they could possibly have. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Let's go, y'all. Let's take this ours. Family on three, 1, 2, 3, bam!
You can see like, oh man, this go back so far, you know.
A friend of mine and I went who graduated. She graduated in '75.
Tech started in 1912, and just think about all the people who graduated from then until now, and you know, I'm just seeing masses of people. You know, you can see his spirit.
Looking from the floor up and just seeing a sea of green, and well over half of Bankers Life Fieldhouse was amazing, and I just. It sent chills through my spine, man, just to know that, hey, the city's got your back.
We sold out Bankers Life Fieldhouse. I mean, the Pacers don't always do that every game.
It was a sellout. And it was if I remember right, in the last 25 years, it was the largest crowd to see an Indiana high school championship state basketball game.
I think I was more excited. Like I loved big games. I loved seeing a lot of people in the crowds. That made me want to play even better. You know, so coming out in state, you know, once we came out, it was like a big roar. It's like. It was great to see all the, you know, the community, all the fans, you know, all our families, you know, supporting us the whole way. You know, just seeing all the green and white in the stands, you know, it made it so much more fun for us.
You were at the game. You saw how the city, the whole city, got behind Tech. And that's because everybody knew the struggle it had been. And so this is one of our own.
You know, even though like Tech and say Northwest, they're rivals. But there were people from Northwest in the stands at the state championship game. There were people from Attucks. There were people from, Warren. Everybody came to watch Tech play.
That IPS situation has been something they've been talking about here in the Indianapolis area for the past, almost since the tournament began, because it's been so long. We'll talk more about that since an IPS school won a state title.
Welcome to Indianapolis and Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Number 3, Eric Meeks. Number 5, John Roberts. Number 10, Devin Mickens. Number 12, Jason Beck. Number 20, Rashawn Richardson. Number 21, Demetrius Shaw. Number 33, Justin Parker. And the starting lineup for your Tech Titans at guard, the 6'2" senior, number 2, Josh Whitfield. At guard, a 6' sophomore, number 11, CJ Walker. At guard, a 6'3" senior, number 22, Jeremy Tyler. At forward, a 6'5" senior, number 23, Mikey Jones. At forward, a 6'10" senior, number 41, Trey Lyles. Todd Wilbur. 6'4" senior, number 22, Corey Dickelman. 5, Tyler Ross. At center, a 6'7" senior, number 45, Tyler Whiteman. Head coach number 22 and 3, Indians and Lake Central, Dave Lamosman.
Ready to go now. Tech will be in the dark uniforms, Lake Central in the white uniforms.
On Lyle.
Walker misses the shot. They turn it over going the other way. Lake Central's first turnover of the game. They get the driving layup. Quickly, Tech getting back up court. Mikey Jones dropped out inside to Walker and outside for the long-range three. That is good by Mikey Jones.
Nice shot by Mikey Jones on the outside, and Tech's up one.
It's like that. I'm not sure what shade of green you call that, Mike, but I've been around Tech for a long, long time, and that's just their color. That's all there is to it.
Time play when you can get up at a guard position at about 10'5", 10'6", and stuff it down.
Right down the lane, alley-oop, blocked by Lyles. He has 64 blocks coming into the game, and they get it.
Coach Malosnik calling timeout. This is a good timeout.
Stay true to everything. Do what we did in the first half, but do it even better. All right? We win 16 minutes. We're state champions.
Let's get this money.
No!
Let's get paid. Let's get paid.
Family on 3. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family.
Long three, and that's a pro three right there by Mikey Jones.
Lake Central just needs to make a shot. If they could just make a shot, they can get back in.
Here's a guy that I've known forever. What a great guy, Landon Turner. The guy. In fact, I was at the school as the driving layup goes in. Third quarter.
Posed a little bit while he was up on the rim.
Approaches this fourth quarter. The slam inside by Weidman. 13-point ball game. It was 23 a few minutes ago. 5.5 to go. Oh, man.
Tyler Weidman goes out. We get up huge. And Weidman just came back. He was just an animal. And the little guard that couldn't shoot started hitting everything.
No foul call. They bring it up. And the block shot, but a foul on Jeremy Tyler.
We came down to those last maybe 6 minutes of clock time, and Lake Central started coming back. They were hitting their free throws. They were doing everything that a team that's coming back looks to do. I started getting real nervous, and I just remember I almost feel like the Tech fans maybe quieted down a little bit there at the end of the game, and we were all just maybe a little paralyzed with nerves, fear, whatever you want to call it, almost worried that the other team was going to come back and steal it from us.
Lake Central has outscored Tech 8-0 in this fourth quarter.
All on the inside and attacking, and we got us a basketball game.
Goal.
And another steal by Lake Central.
And a spin move inside by Wilburn, who's all the way to the hole and got it.
They need to attack Indianapolis Tech because Lyles doesn't want to foul out of the game.
Wilburn getting inside again.
No timeouts now, so they just got to play through it, and they foul again.
I really was not watching the game on the floor. I was watching the clock because the other team was coming up quickly.
You might need a three. I might be looking for Meneghetti. Here's the layup off the mark this time. Save. Meneghetti trying to chase it down. He does. Picked up by Lake Central. Off of the near side. Here is the three. Good. By Ty Wilburn.
What a shot by Wilburn at 21% for the season. And we are down just like last week at 62-59 with 11 seconds to go. Lake Central can come down the court for this last possession with a chance to tie this basketball game.
We get one of the Tech players down, DJ Walker.
Yeah, he's their point guard right now. I think it looked like he kind of pulled a muscle right there.
What it looks like, yeah.
Well, he's going to have to come out of the basketball game, so Tech's going to have to sub. And Lyles, I would say this is the biggest free throws of his high school career right here.
I could not disagree with that at all.
He's got to make one. Then they need to get back and defend. And it'll be interesting what Lake Central does, whether they try to shoot the three or try to lay it in again. There's really not much defense for Tech at this time because Lyles doesn't want to foul out of the game. One more shot. The second one's always tougher than the first one when you miss the first one.
I'll tell you, this doesn't go in. We got ourselves a heck of a finish here. So reminiscent of last week from Bloomington North.
Coach Delaney has to, right now, he needs to be talking to somebody to know where Meneghetti is at right now. They need to find him. And
this place is going crazy. Oh, that is so big. Now they come down. Now you don't have to have the three. That's way off the mark. Lyles picks it up, throws it up in the air with 2 seconds, 1 second. Game over. Tech manages to dodge a bullet 63-59.
What a game at the end for Lake Central to come back, and a great win for Indianapolis Tech. First time since 1980 Indianapolis Public Schools won the state basketball championship.
Well, I can't say enough about Ty Wilburn. Here's a young man who had 8 points through 3 quarters. Well, this kept Tech corrected and pulled it up also. They could have said, oh, wait a minute, not that they would have lost the game, but they had some troubles and they overcame it.
And Tech also for 3 quarters played really, really well. They were great on the defensive end because part of Lake Central's woes on offense was that Lake Central forced them so far out to shoot the ball.
Hey, what you got to say to the camera, though? Say something to the camera. Honey, match your head. Go, boys.
Just like this joy, because you just don't know how to react, and the fans are going crazy. Like,
congratulations! Thank you very much. You know, it's all sinking in now because you think you're putting the game away, and then you're missing free throws, and it comes down to the very, very end. You know, it's just wide array of emotions, but the one that's starting to kick in now is that, this is the last game I get to coach these guys, and they have been absolutely wonderful. I love these kids to death. There's 4 of them that were there from the very beginning when there were 7 guys showing up. Trey, Mikey, Josh, and Jeremy, and then, CJ came in and what he's meant to the program. It's just all these guys. Justin Barker played a great game. A lot of the guys didn't play tonight, but they'll all go down as champions.
This is more than about Tech. This is about IPS. First state title in basketball for an IPS school since Broad Ripple in 1980. What does that mean to you?
It inspires people. You look at this crowd. These young men have inspired people to come back that haven't been to a high school basketball game in years. And what they're doing, too, is inspiring the little kids in the elementary and middle schools and even other IPS schools. For 34 years, it hasn't been done. A lot of times being told they couldn't be done. And now we're an example of it can be done.
Jason, why don't you go enjoy it. Congratulations.
And when the buzzer went off, I started to cry.
I was so happy. I thought I finally saw what I wanted to see. We finally got a championship.
I didn't cry, didn't do anything like that. If it happened today, I probably would have cried. I was going nuts.
Yeah, I was very happy for him because they've been there since the beginning. We've been here since the beginning, seeing them achieve something.
And even one is still sentimental to me. Kay's mom was going through some stuff. And I told him, I forgot when I told him, but I was like, your mom's gonna see us play. Your mom's gonna make it and she's gonna watch you win a state championship. He's like, man, I hope you right. I was like, nah, it's like, believe me, your mom's gonna watch you win a state championship game. And so that happens. And I remember hugging Kay. It's like, I told you. I was like, your mom made it and we won state.
My grandmother went to Arsenal Tech. She'd never seen a state championship. My uncles went to Tech. They never seen a state championship. My parents went to Broad Ripple. So for them to be, IPS representatives as well, it was a big deal. A lot of my people went to IPS school.
How I feel? Might as well get a shot. Y'all what on the locker room though? I don't know, bro. We're gonna take the Gatorade bucket in the locker room and we're gonna pour it on Coach Delaney. Coach Delaney better yeet or something. Yeah. The lady better do something. Yeah, coach. Yeah, baby. Coach Delaney, come here. Take that picture, bro. Over. I got you. Taking up to you? Hold the picture by yourself. Hold on, bro. Make sure it's right, bro. Make sure it's right, bro. Hold on, what you got? Hold on. Let me get this at your phone. No, 2 time. I got you. Okay. Get money.
I want to say congratulations to each and every one of you. Because each and every one of you sacrificed, each and every one of you believed, and each and every one of you will always be known as a champion. What this team has done has inspired more people than you'll ever know. You inspired older people. You broke the stereotype of IPS. Many of you had heard, because every time you turn on the news, when it's an IPS story, it's something negative. But you guys have given people hope. I had a high school coach text me from IPS a couple weeks ago and said, you guys do this. You are my inspiration to tell my kids that it's been done, that it can be done. I want to say from the bottom of my heart, Thank you for the honor it has been to coach you. I told you, make sure it's not tears this time of falling short. Make sure it's tears of joy. Maybe tears of joy that it's over. Maybe tears of joy that we won. It may be tears of joy that you had a team where you got to play with some great people. Some great teammates. I'm so proud of this group of guys. I have been honored and I've been blessed to be your coach. State champs.
People still talk about it. I'm like, nothing's gonna be better than that 2014 state champ team. Or just like the banners when you walk in, and when people come back, like the newer Tech people now, if they see like Mike Jones or even JP, they see JP or they see Rashawn or somebody, like, who is this dude? But real, people who around the area, teachers, real principals and Tech Titans, they'll know like, oh, he was on the state team. They'll show them respect, show them love, because they'll know what they went through and they know who they are.
The things that we went through in that entire season, the things that we had to deal with, the ups and the downs, like those kids will never experience. Like they're gonna have greatness in their life, but they're never gonna experience that greatness again. Like that is something that I don't think anyone understands. As an athletic trainer, like that was one of my greatest moments. Like I am so proud to have that state ring. And I was the trainer. Like I didn't play any minutes on the court, but I think that is something that those kids are gonna, whether they played 2 minutes or they played the whole game, they're gonna have that to look back on, and that's gonna be a great moment in their lives. I think that it definitely mattered to the city, to IPS, but mainly to those kids, those coaches.
The things that you have done, I am so proud. I'm all on Facebook showing how proud I am of you all. And we all are all proud of you all. So whatever you all do after school, you're going to always remain champions in our hearts. And to all the champions of the Tech Titans, we just thank you very much, and God bless you, and good luck in the future. Right on.
It actually fueled me to do better in my college years. So.
Yeah, even though me and the coaches probably didn't get along at times, now as me getting older, I understand what they were saying and understand that adversity, what they were saying in life, because at home I wasn't getting it. So I had to really go through that adversity to learn. So I didn't just get better off of overnight. My goal every day was to get better every day, not just as a basketball player, just as a person.
I feel like for me, just me personally, I feel like I never wanted to be nothing less than a champion.
Goes to every person in here.
That's too long. Oh yeah, everybody gets that. Oh, that's not everybody running up.
Yeah, the hardest moment for me was when the time was going off of Banker's life, because you knew it was over. It's bittersweet. You finally accomplished what you guys set out to do, but you knew it was over and things would never be the same. And then you give the speech, and Trey is sitting in his dad's arms, just crying. Here's a kid that's going to Kentucky. Why should this matter to him? And you see other guys with tears in their eyes. It was finally, everyone understood that it was over and things would never be the same again. You'd always have those memories and things, but that ride was so fun, but it came to an end.
The feeling of it was just kind of hard to describe because of, it's almost one of the biggest things that probably will ever happen in your life, as far as the feeling and just, all the hard work and a lot of the guys that we won the state title with, I coached for 3 years. So building that relationship with them and then being able to experience that joy with them was just second to none.
It just felt good knowing everything that we worked for, it paid off, it wasn't in vain.
And they won the state championship, which was really
a tremendous achievement for an inner city school in the state of Indiana.
And I think that's why people came out and supported them. And the We Are Family thing, I think, really showed up at Banker's Life that night in a really neat setting. And again, it was just kind of a cool story because we hadn't seen it before. It had always been if it had been Indianapolis, it was more of the township schools, the surrounding schools, rather than the inner city school that had done it.
Parents of students at those townships, it was good for them to see an IPS high school win the Indiana State Championship.
I said the pink one. Basketball for I don't know how to read, but look, you can read. Yeah.
People associate tech and IPS in general with failing, like a broken system, just a waste of time. The city doesn't put resources into the public schools. A lot of my friends don't understand why I went to the public schools. And I think to show them that something good can come from that, and that there are these amazing, talented, unique people that are in the school system and that believe in the school system.
Growing up in this environment, it definitely is, tough to keep a straight mind and focus on something like basketball and school and thrive at it, like, at the level that we did. So it's, we definitely went through a lot as a team, as, a family, as a whole.
It just matters for personal pride, for, I don't know, it's like self-worth. When people tell you that IPS means nothing, then you're able to fill a basketball stadium with 20,000 people cheering for your team. Like, that just means a lot to kids who don't have a lot.
You guys said we couldn't, we did. You said we probably wouldn't finish because the other schools are more disciplined. We beat them.
That's a big thing to accomplish, especially being an IPS school and being at Tech. Because Tech usually is not on the news for basketball or anything like that. It's because something happened on the campus or something. So seeing Tech on the news and them putting on their rings, it felt like a big accomplishment. And being how long the last time Tech won a championship?
Tech was 100 years old, and had never had it.
IPS ain't won a state championship since like Broad Ripple days. And I want to say that was in 80s?
That's huge just to, write our name in history.
So that was very special to come on in 2014 to win the championship, bring it back home to IPS, just to give kids motivation, just let them know that they can make it out.
It just brought more attention to our school. Arsenal Tech is a great school. Now you fine. All right, lady. All right, sis. It was such a great school, man, and I feel like we weren't getting the recognition. It gave the students, I feel like it kind of gave us hope, in a way, like just something to strive for, that we know that like we're just not just your average inner city, that we actually have something to reach for. We have goals, and anything can be achieved.
For Arsenal Tech, an inner city IPS school that's been hemorrhaging students for decades, to rise above the rest is miraculous. I think something about that team will always matter in the sense that it shows what is possible.
What does this mean for the bigger picture? And even when I go in Tech's gym now, though, you see the picture of the team in there, and it's like, man, that was really special. That was really neat what those guys did. And you see the state championship on the floor, on the court, the 2014 team, and I think. It's more than that. It's more than a picture on the wall. It's more than a year on the gym floor. But those are the things that remind you of, like, this is possible here. And I think that's maybe the biggest thing. The main takeaway is that, no matter how down you get, like I said, the 90s, the 2000s, Tech was not relevant. But if you get a team like this together, you can do it.
That did a great deal of service for IPS in general. And I believe that's why, you have your Christmas Addicts pops up. It ends up winning the state championship. So we were going to start seeing pockets of success all throughout IPS. And again, I think it all starts with leadership from the top. What do you believe in your kids?
we changed the culture for doing it. I feel like we can make other younger kids under us believe now that it's a possibility that you can achieve things that don't even look like it can happen. We can turn people that's younger than us to believers. As me growing up as a little kid, I never really thought I was gonna win the state, or I never thought that.
It was different. Like it wasn't the same as it was prior to this. Like there was this understanding that we can win the state championship every single year. And the commitment, so you're in the summer, you see guys in there all the time shooting.
It made me want to work harder at whatever I did.
I mean, they left a good legacy behind that we all want to try to live up to. Like, we all want to try to be like them. So we kind of look up to them, and that kind of drives us to try to do better.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like just saying that you want the championship is one thing, but actually going out and proving to yourself that you deserve it is another thing. You know what I'm saying? And for another class or another group of people, another team after us to gain inspiration from us, I mean, I feel like that right there is just passing the baton.
Anything's possible. You know, if Tech can win state championship, you know, it could happen again down the road for Tech. It could happen again for an IPS school. And to me, that's the main takeaway, is if you're all in it together, it is possible.
When you decide to take that step towards being a champion and you really taking that step, people will be a fool not to follow. And I mean, it's not so much calling you a fool for not doing what somebody else is doing, but if they're showing you proof that you can do this as well, I mean, hey, it's on you if you want to be a champion. Hey.